Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 2 of the 2022 DownUnder Series V8 Supercar Championship here from Simsports Plains in Tasmania. So Simsports Plains, it's one of Australia's oldest circuits, having been continuous operations since 1960. Short and fast, it's been a long-standing fixture of the local touring car scene, and its annual round of the Australian Supercars is the largest sporting event in Tasmania. As well as Supercars, this circuit is also host to Australian Superbikes and the new for 2021 Race Tasmania event, which the TCR Australia cars are among the headline acts. So very interesting, short and fast circuit as you join us just before qualifying here. To run through the kind of quick order from last time out at Sydney Motorsport Park to sprint races at night and changeable weather as well. We had Wayne Walker defending his crown, taking the double win there. Daniel Opatisano coming in second place. And then we had, who was it as well, Chris McLennan coming in third place as well. So joining me in the commentary box this evening, or this morning for us line in the UK, is Matthew Sanderson. Say hello, Matt.
And and it's going to be a different circuit today, as already mentioned by Dave there at Simsports Plains Raceway. So it's going to be very fast paced, a lot of hard braking points. So it'll be good to see who's going to come out on top. It's not just about speed and who can get the corner exit now. You know, it's sort of going to be about that braking efficiency, and of course with no ABS, that's going to be interesting here.
Yeah, absolutely. So just note as well, the series is sponsored by Servers Australia, and the broadcast to you, is brought to you by No Most. We'll hear a little bit more about those later on in the broadcast. As we said, we are just at the beginning of qualifying here. Daniel Opatisano is setting the out-and-out pace at the moment. As I say that, he is immediately beaten by Wayne Walker by 2/10. He is into the 48.9, so very short lap time here, less than a minute around this circuit. Daniel Opatisano with a 49.114. Thomas Foster currently in third place with a 49.942. So this is the first time I've ever heard of this track. I'll not lie, but it seems very interesting. It's got pretty much a very difficult kind of braking into turn 1 and turn 2. You're kind of just on the edge of grip constantly, trying to get the car slowed down there, and a big long run from turn 3 up to the hairpin at turn 4. Coming through there, through turn 5, that's flat out corner, I'm pretty sure. It's barely even noticed that, and then heavy braking into turn 6. Following just only 7 turns on this track, turns 6 and 7 kind of ending up the lap, kind of opening radius corners there.
There's a spin for Noble Host car number 3 there as it comes out of some of the corners. Retiring back to the pit box, but yeah, Chris McLennan currently sitting down in P7 at the start of qualifying here.
Just noticed a little bit of a traffic jam trying to get out the pit lane. Doesn't seem the best kind of pit exit, especially if you're trying to get into some clean air at the moment. There was a bit of a traffic jam coming out. Wayne Walker was kind of held up in that as well. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. These cars are quite large, and there's not too much space to be going side by side around here. So we'll see who can make the most of the slipstream and the braking into the very few corners we have.
No, it definitely kind of screams big risk and a big reward, doesn't it? Because you know, as I mentioned, you got those big moment there for the Worth car as it goes into the penultimate corner into the barriers. That goes for the number 4. So another big sideways moment, and I was just going to touch on that actually before it actually happened, is that there's not really a lot of runoff area available here. It is simply white lines followed by grass, and of course we all know that if you touch that, then you're pretty much a sitting duck and along for the ride. So of course that's shortly complemented by harsh vertical barriers for these guys, so that's going to be a tricky one to overcome.
Yeah, there is no room for error around this circuit. It's either you hit a barrier on one side of the track or you hit a barrier on the other side. I don't think there's really any other option. Once again, there is no such thing as a small accident at this track, because despite its short length, the speeds are fairly high. There's only maybe 2 or 3 heavy braking zones, and they're both really difficult. So it's going to be a real test of skill to see who can actually get the most out of this. Saying that, Craig Broadbent in the Racetech Steel Racing car has gone at second place with a 49.069. Not quite able to break into the 48s yet, but there's still plenty of time to go in qualifying, just 10 minutes remaining. And that is 11 laps or so to get a good result around here.
Yeah, a lot of guys setting good times now. So Wayne Walker currently sitting on pole. He's the only one that's broken into the 48. Craig Broadbent just narrowly behind, just 1/10, and that's 49.069. Of course, the rest of them are very close indeed. I mean, if you look at the top 5, the gap to the leader itself is only 0.3 seconds, so it's extremely tight. And of course, one of the challenges they're going to have here is actually finding a nice bit of open track. You want to have the slipstream from the competitor ahead, but at the same time, you want to be that far back that it doesn't actually impede your line or your racing efforts there on your lap.
Yeah, precisely. And with just such a small track, the fine margins matter. You can find it's going to be difficult to find any time whatsoever when you're you're getting round a circuit in less than a minute. So any 10th you can gain by just going that little bit more committed into a corner, or just taking that little bit more apex curve, then it's going to make the difference when it comes to the qualifying.
What's going to be interesting as well is the pit entry and exit points. It's actually quite risky, especially coming on back on re-entry. It seems to join high on that turn 1, turn 2 chicane that they've got there. So that's going to be really tricky in the race, I think, because of course that's where you're naturally going to want to be when you're coming through that particular corner, especially if you're still on the racetrack. So that's going to have to be a very tricky moment.
Yeah, I'm foreseeing some issues in at the start of the races. Standing starts here in this series, and there's pretty much one line through turn 1 and 2. So getting all these 26 cars through that one line is going to be quite the task, especially the size of these cars. We see the 49 car having some issues coming into turn 1 and 2. It's a really tricky braking zone. You're pretty much turning and braking at the same time, trying to get the car stopped. But we'll quickly go over the format for this evening. So we are just coming to the end of about halfway through the qualifying session at the moment. And then we'll have a 5-minute warm-up just for the drivers to put the fuel back in the car, just have a quick break before the race begins. And then we'll have a 40-minute race 1. And there's no mandatory stops, but there will be one pit stop required for fuel. So fuel is going to be a factor in this race. After that, we'll have another 5-minute warm-up before the second race. Again, it will be a 40-minute race, and that is, I think from last time, it was based on the finishing order from race 1. So
yes.
All does matter. You've got to really make sure you get a good position at the end of race 1 to maximise your chances in race 2. So Matt, who's your go-to here? Who do you think is going to be strong? Who do you think is going to possibly cause some upset here?
Well, I think it's going to be one of those tactical approaches to this kind of race. It all depends on how the slipstream is going to play out. If we're going to see quite a bit of draft come into effect, I believe that the best place to sit would be in second place right until the very end when you make that final move. But in terms of our overall pace, I think Wayne Walker's the man that's been showing us how it's done so far this season. Of course, he's defending champ. He won both rounds last time around, at Sydney. So he is the man that's setting the bar at the moment, and the guys out there, they're going to be hard stretched to actually kind of beat him. Whether or not this circuit will suit some of the guys and be able to give them a bit of an advantage over him, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, so just looking here, the guys at DownUnder series has been very helpful and given us kind of driver profiles of a lot of the drivers in this series at the moment. But yeah, he is the double champion from 2020 to 2021, and he's also the Aussie Simsports V8 Supercar champion in 2021 as well. So you can quite happily say that Wayne Walker is in his element driving these cars. He's got the credentials, and he is hoping to kind of continue his run at success. A pretty serious gear as well, running Fantech Club sort of V2.5s with heatsink valve pedals as well, going all out, and also an ILOG sequential shifter. So really taking it to the extreme with the immersion there.
Just on board Craig Broadbent, he's now broken into the 48 So that's 2 drivers. Of course, Craig Broadbent retired last time round at Sydney, but he was extremely quick in qualifying and certainly looked to be a guy that could potentially go wheel to wheel with Wayne Walker, along with some others. So looks like he may have his hands full at the start of the race this time.
Yeah, Alberto Sassano has broken into the 48 as well. He's on a 48.996, so the top 3 separated by less than a tenth. So it's getting very close in the closing stages of qualifying here, as we see some carnage going on in the background at turn 1 as we come out of the pits.
Oh, there's some bit exit carnage going on there. The 44 trying to find a bit of open space and just nearly caught out the number 4,
Whoa!
Which is, yeah, and there's actually some cars spinning out into turn 1 as we speak. So, that exit, as we said, it looks a bit hairy, and it seems it's causing issues already in qualifying, never mind the race itself, because they will need to, no doubt, pit for fuel, as you mentioned, but I doubt the soft compound tyres will last the full 40 minutes either. We saw that they were struggling at Sydney Park, so I know it's a lot of long straights here at Simmons, but I'd still think they're going to have to go for a second set of tyres.
Yeah, one thing to note as well, that wasn't really too much of an issue. It's still a kind of an issue, but not too much. Would be traffic. Very short lap time, so you're going to end up meeting lapped cars very quickly, especially if you are at the pace that the leaders are at. So that's going to play into the strategy for the race as well, is who can best deal with the traffic and navigate that. Because we do have some guys that are a little bit off the pace of the leaders towards the back of the field, maybe like 1.5 to 1 to 1.5 seconds off the overall pace. So that's something to look out for as well. Coming into the kind of not even the midsection, being very early on in the race, you'll start meeting some traffic.
Shall we ride on board with someone before we run out of time for qualifying?
Sounds perfect.
Looks like we're on board with Wayne Walker at the moment. Craig Broadbent's just gone to the top, so this is going to be the final opportunity here for Wayne to secure this.
So on board with Wayne Walker coming around the final corner, over the start finish line, and then that horrible braking zone into turn 1 and 2. Gets it just about stopped, a bit of oversteer on the exit, and then all the way down straight. That little bit of oversteer is going to cost him all the time coming down here as we come through towards the hairpin of turn 4. There's a lot of traffic ahead, heavy braking. The track falls away from you towards the apex. A little bit wide of the apex there was Wayne, but he managed to hold it together, and then all the way down towards turn 5, which should be a flat out corner, maybe a small confidence lift. No such luck there for Wayne, and then heavy braking into turn 6 and 7. Tighter entry in turn 6. It kind of opens up a little bit towards turn 7 as.
Oh no, he's bailed on that. Yeah, he can't, there's nothing he could have done about that. Of course, the car ahead just causing him a few issues there. So no wonder he decided to call that one a day. But he's still got time left. Of course, the are very short laps. 48.9 seconds was all it takes to get around here, and there's 1 minute 40 left. So if he wants to go for an extra flying lap, then he can do that.
Yeah, he's doing a pit stop. He's 3,000th of a second behind Craig Broadbent. James Delaney has come from nowhere. It seems to put it into 3rd place at 48.945. He is once again less than a tenth. So the top 4 separated by less than a tenth of a second now. Let's see who else can break into those 48s towards the end of the session as the track continues to evolve.
Yes, obviously the track will be getting faster ever so slightly as the guys keep going round and round. Rubber is settling into the circuit, making it ever slightly faster, which is exactly the margins that they need to move up the grid. So this is basically the crucial moment. They've all been putting in the groundwork and building the circuit up for this moment, and they've just got to be in that position now to put in that fast lap, a nice bit of clear air, potentially a slipstream up the road, and they could be in a good start for race 1.
Clear air seems to be at a premium around here at the moment. Everybody pretty much is out on track though. There's several cars that aren't out at the moment. Craig Broadbent, he's in the pits, he's happy with his time. So it's up to Wayne Walker and James Delaney and anybody else who can get close to Broadbent here to topple him off the top. Wayne Walker starting his lap now, as there's a little bit of
Oh, there's a car on its side.
What?
The Gamer Fuel V8 is completely on its. Well, it was on its roof. It's recovered back to the pits now, but it was completely totaled. So that last send literally was quite literally a last send, dug into the gravel and flipped itself onto the roof. But I'm sure they're fine.
Unless he's in a motion rig, I'm pretty sure he will be absolutely fine.
That'd be a wake-up call, wouldn't it?
So Wayne Walker coming through the second part of the lap here. Is he on a flying lap at the moment? I think he is.
Yes, he is. Yes.
So braking into turn 6, he's just about getting that thing in. He's really ragging that thing for everything it's worth. A lot of apex curve there through the final corner. Comes across line. Can he improve? I don't think he can.
It's not an improvement. No, it wasn't any purple sectors that time by, so it will be Craig Broadbent taking pole position here for the second round of the V8 Super Cup, or Super Cup Championship, if I can find my word, sorry. And Wayne Walker, the gap is 0.003 seconds. You can't make that up.
That is the fine margins between these two guys, and what a fantastic kind of insight into the race. So just while we are in the warm-up session here, we'll quickly just talk about some of our one of our sponsors this evening. So the actual series itself, sponsored by Service Australia. The Service Australia's mission is to help businesses accelerate their online growth through world-class cloud solutions. They were founded in 2006 and born from a desire to combat the lack of quality in the local web hosting market. Today, they are providing multifaceted cloud solutions and professional service. So their business has grown from to be more than just service. They focus on their customers and deliver solutions that solve real business challenges. So thank you to Service Australia for sponsoring the series, and what a series it's turning out to be so far. The racing in Sydney Motorsport Park, absolutely fantastic. The changing conditions made it a hell of a race to watch. And this circuit as well is shaping up to host quite the spectacle in the DownUnder Series V8 Supercar Championship.
I mean, yeah, we're just going to go through the warm-up session now before we go racing. It's going to be two 40-minute races, sprinting here with the V8, so all to play for. Of course, points available in both of those rounds, and of course, as already mentioned by Dave, whatever you finish in, or wherever you finish in your first race, that will determine where you start in your second race. So you can take that as tactically as you want. You know, you could easily set yourself up using the first race sacrificially in some respects, tactically in terms of pit stops, etc., knowing that you'll be further up the order for the second race. So be interesting to see what kind of approaches teams are going to have. Again, we're using the soft compound. Not too sure how that is going to last here. Of course, 2 weeks ago at Sydney, it was a lot higher degradation, a lot of higher speed corners. Here it's more, long straights. There's a few corners here, but they're typically on the slower side. Of course, that last sector, turn 5, that's that long right-hander before you get to the penultimate corner. That's going to be probably the harshest point on that front left tyre, and that will be the key to knowing whether or not we're going to need a second set of compounds.
Yeah, so just a little word on Craig Broadbent. Noticing from his little kind of driver bio we've got here, it's got a little bit of real-world racing credentials, some kart racing, and the New South Wales Hyundai Excel series, which I've obviously never heard of, but interesting kind of real-life experience. Clearly paying out in the sim as well, as he is able to just about topple Wayne Walker for the pole. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this race. It'd be interesting to see who can get through turn 1 in one piece. I can imagine there is going to be absolute chaos. There's 26 V8 supercars trying to go through a very limited amount of space.
Yeah, we've got 2 minutes until we get to the race itself, so we'll just quickly run through the starting order.
Yep, go ahead.
So let's bring this up and get ready for the race here at Symmons Plains Race 3. Already mentioned Craig Broadbent taking first place, and then defending champion Wayne Walker close behind. James Delaney coming in last moment. and also Daniel close behind in 4th place. Then we have Thomas Foster, he was quick last 2 weeks as well, and then Stephen White, Chris McLennan coming home in 7th, and then Jamin Brazil in P8. Justin Bryce in 9th place, followed by Hayden Darragh. Dean Goggy having a hard time in P11, and then Mark Young from Peanut Racing in P12. Brett Gooden in Starship Racing in P13, followed by Ashley Kutchi, and then we have Kresna Putra in P15, and then Paul Robinson in P16. Adi Satya in 17th, Sean Stafford in 18th, Bradley Martin in 19th, and then John Slow in 21st. Peter Spearing, and then followed by Craig Stoddard. Matt Ogg for Oggy Racing, and then Alan Lansdowne in P24. Then running out the back of the grid, we have Steve Dunn and Phil Whiteman. So that's 26 cars, 28 screaming V8s lining up here at Simmons Plains Raceway. That's a lot of traffic, as you say, Dave, lining up, going wheel to wheel here. That's going to be interesting indeed, and it's going to be a tactical game. I think it's going to be one of those. It's always going to be like NASCAR, where you have to move up the order, using the slipstream as best you can, making sure you use the right moments, the right times, and hopefully creep forward up the order when possible.
Yeah, they're really going to have to get themselves sorted quickly coming into Turn 1. The run from the start line to Turn 1 is pretty much non-existent. So, yeah, the quicker you can get into a favourable position is going to be better for your chances here. But we'll see how it goes. We've got 5 seconds to go until the grid starts forming up, and we'll be underway for Race 1 this evening. Yeah, I'm very excited. It's going to be quite a spectacle of racing once again, I believe.
It'll be interesting to see what side of the grid will be the pole sitting car. You know, would you prefer to be on the inside or the outside line? You know, you've got that slight runoff area, the curbing available if you want to get that foot down just a bit earlier. Or would you rather sit on the inside to make sure you can defend against Wayne Walker, who no doubt will try to apply pressure at the start of this race?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think back to who got good starts at Sydney Motorsport Park. I think I remember Craig Broadbent getting some rapid starts as well. Wayne Walker pretty good as well. So it's going to be a one of the shortest drag races in history towards Turn 1, but it's going to be vital to see who can come out on top, because I think if you can get the position early on, it's going to be very difficult for the cars behind to make any form of progress through the field. But yeah, as we see everybody just lining up on the grid now, you see it's going to be difficult for a lot of people to get kind of underway, because the start-finish line and all the grid positions are around a bend, and I'm pretty sure they go back towards like the final corner as well. So it's going to be tough to get these cars underway, but the better that's where you make up the time really. If you can get the jump on a couple of cars ahead, you're in a good position.
Yeah, we have the grid lining up now, just waiting on 1 or 2, including our pole-sitting man, Craig Broadbent, in his orange Ford Mustang, the 350 there, sitting tidy. Wayne Walker lining up alongside, and we're about to go racing, Dave.
Yeah, just a couple of guys just left to get on the grid. They've got about 30 seconds to get onto the grid before they are excluded from the race, but I'm sure they are just getting themselves prepared. You know, 2 more cars here. Back of the field just coming on. Sean Stafford, the last one to pop onto the grid, and then here we go. The lights will start to come on and the revs will rise, and so will the tension, as the first race of round 2 of the DownUnder Series V8 Supercar Championship will get underway. The engine notes are rising now. Everyone's getting very anxious to get going. Lights go on. The V8 screen, and we're underway. It's a good start from Wayne Walker. He's managed to jump Craig Broadbent. He's got a shocker of a start. He is down to 3rd place already. There's contact already in the background. We're going to see cars piling in as everyone just gets shoved wide of the apex. Dean Godfrey has got a shocker. He's been shoved all the way back down to 14th place as people stream through here. Wayne Walker is managing to get quite the start there as Craig Broadbent is back into second place ahead of James Delaney, and then Wayne Walker's running away with this now. He's got nearly a second lead already.
Yeah, we've got some spinners at turn 4 as well, so that's up at the hairpin, at Bramble's hairpin, so someone got turned around completely and caused a bit of a traffic jam. That's why you see that large gap now between the top 10 and the rest of the grid.
Yeah, Brett Gooden really getting the worst deal there. There's a massive crash in the background, I heard. I think that was Adi Sathya, who's had a huge contact with the wall, I think. Yeah, he's got no rear wing, got no front end as well, so major damage for him. And there's going to be a lot of cars coming into the pits, I think, for repairs here. Back at the front of the field, Wayne Walker is running away once again. He's got about 7/10 of a second as they come through the hairpin. There's a little bit of debris on the apex of turn 4 there they'll need to be looking out for, and debris everywhere. There's bits of bodywork strewn across the circuit. Craig Broadbent under a little bit of pressure here from James Delaney for second position. Not going to be a move on coming into turn 6, but he's going to try and set himself up through the first sector again. James Delaney to try and get down the inside, possibly at turn 4. Very difficult track to overtake it around here, it seems. Stephen White in 5th place is looking at Daniel Obtisano in the clean skin racing car for 4th position as well. And we've got a long stream of cars. It's starting to spread out a little bit as everyone just kind of calms down slightly. As Obtisano got a brilliant run coming out of the second corner, side by side through the hairpin. They contacted the exit, and they're still side by side. Obtisano just has to withdraw from his position and maintains 4th position for now. James Delaney with some strong defensive maneuvers, but it's all fair here. Looking on the inside, possibly for Obtisano, is not the place to go for a move there.
Yeah, the leader's also starting to create just slight of a gap at the moment. So Wayne Walker and Craig Broadbent kind of pulling away from James Delaney at the moment. So of course he's got to look in his rear view mirror as well and make sure that Daniel doesn't get by. Stephen White also trying to catch up in the 971. That's that white Holden as it comes out into the back of the freight. So that's the top 5 all the way to first place within 1 second of one another. Also, don't forget Thomas Foster. He was there at the start of the race 2 weeks ago at Sydney as well. He's very, very quick indeed, so keep an eye on that guy. He's P6 and staying firmly attached to the back end of this grid, probably looking ahead to making sure that he's not going to get caught up in any mistakes.
Yeah, you'll just want to... that's Obtisano going very sideways coming out of turn 6 there. He's managed to gather it back up, but he's going to be under pressure from Stephen White here. But you really do need to be careful here. It's a 40-minute race, so you can't go all guns blazing at the very start, because it will come to bite you in the arse later in the race. But Stephen White is closing, once again, he is within about 3/10 of a second. He's not going to be close enough to make a move into the hairpin, unless he makes a major dive. He's not going to do that. He's going to just hold position for now, as Thomas Foster goes a little bit wide of the apex coming out of the hairpin. But once again, Wayne Walker is just controlling this race so far. Broadbent's still within touching distance, but he does seem to kind of catch back up and drop back a little bit, and back into the clutches of James Delaney as these guys start to squabble for these positions.
He seems to have struggled on that last particular lap. He was within 0.2, 0.3 seconds last time we looked at it, so something's happened there to make him drop back to 0.8. So that's not where he would like to be. Of course, still a long way to go, and he still has that all-important slipstream, of course. So he just needs to refocus, settle in, and look after those tyres, and I'm sure he'll find himself back on the attack again.
Yeah, absolutely. He wants to kind of try and save as much fuel as he can in slipstream at this stage. That'll really help with the longevity and the strategy in the long run towards the end of the race. If you can put less fuel in, he doesn't need to spend as long in the pit, so he can make the jump on Walker. But he's dropped back to 1.2 seconds now, so he's starting to struggle to keep up with Walker. He is just starting to run away once again, as all of the other cars up to 6th position close in on Broadbent, fighting for that second spot.
Ooh,
very sideways. Delaney fantastically held, but that's not the quickest way to go through turn 2.
He's going to leave himself quite vulnerable now because Daniel's got a really good run down into the hairpin. He's going to go down the inside. He's gone for the move, committed already, and he's actually made the... Oh, he's actually going to miss the apex ever so slightly. Room given there by James Delaney, and he's actually got that position firmly in place, and now he's got this issue with Craig Broadbent ahead, who himself didn't really get a good getaway, so that's going to help Daniel a bit because he's going to get the slipstream into his advantage to hold off James as he tries to come back into the next set of corners.
Yeah, definitely not over though. James Delaney is right on the rear wing, under the rear wing of Opedisano here, and along that as well, Stephen White, who got very sideways out of the hairpin on the last lap, is going to be charging as well. Sideways again for James Delaney. He is really sending it through the second corner there. Fantastic spectacle, but not the best on your tyres. He's dropped back a little bit now from Opedisano. Seems to be under a little bit of pressure from Stephen White behind.
Oh, and he's been turned.
Oh, contact. He just about recovered that. Minor contact on the rear doesn't take much with cars like this, especially when you're putting the power down, but very well recovered, and that has increased the gap a little bit more to Opedisano, who is now checking his mirrors a little bit less and chasing down Craig Broadbent for second place.
Yeah, Stephen White didn't actually take that position in the end. Of course, it's cost him a lot of time in terms of distance to Daniel in the number 4. But yeah, I think that's you can't really fault that. I think maybe it was just trying to go for the inside line, just a little love tap, which gave him a half spin. But at least he didn't push him all the way around. That's all I'm saying.
Coming into the breakings over turn 4 here, once again we're going to see a lot of action in this hairpin throughout these two races, but Opedisano is right on the back of Craig Broadbent here. Broadbent just struggling for the pace, it seems. Maybe the quali setup was a little bit more favourable than the race setup for overall pace. He's just not able to match the cars around him at the moment. So he's going to try and defend his position a little bit wide to the apex, gathers it back up though. But Opedisano, who came second in both races in Sydney Motorsport Park under the lights and the rain, he is going to be looking to continue that run of form and possibly improve it in this round. Gets so close to the barrier there, inches between them, side by side behind there. That's Chris McLennan.
Oh, here goes Daniel down the inside.
Battles going on all over the place. Opedisano side by side still. Not able to get it done, but he's got the run there. He's going to have to back off, and then Chris McLennan and Thomas Foster as well as behind as well, finding the 6th position. They hold position 4 now as well. But this is getting spicy already.
Yeah, this is obviously excellent news for Wayne Walker. He's now sitting tidy with 2.4 second gap over the rest of the grid. That's a huge margin in a place like this when the lap times are only under sub 1 minute. So he's going to be loving this in the rearview mirror, because the more fighting that these guys do, the easier it's going to be for him to repeat what he did 2 weeks ago at Sydney Park. So let's see if they can actually start to focus on what matters here, and that's chasing down the championship leader, because that's going to be what's more important in the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely. Lap traffic here coming into play on lap 10. Wayne Walker getting around, I believe that's Phil Whiteman in the 23 red racing car, sat down in 23rd position at the moment. But Opedisano not quite close enough. He's dropped back a little bit. I think he got a pretty terrible run in the first sector. But lap traffic ahead is going to start to play a factor now into the battles. But yeah, as you're saying, they need to focus on what's important here is kind of strategy towards the end of the race. If they continue to fight, Wayne Walker's just going to run away once again and just cruise to victory. So they need to work together here. They need to use the slipstream. They need to try and save a little bit of fuel and catch back up to Wayne Walker and just try and maybe force an issue. Not sure if Wayne Walker is susceptible to pressure at all, but they need to work together to get back towards the front here, or Wayne Walker is just going to run away with it. To turn 6 now, not quite close enough. James Delaney has been under constant pressure from Stephen White for in 5th position.
Lock up there. Sorry, lock up there for Craig Broadbent. This is an opportunity for Daniel. He goes down the inside into the final corner. He's actually touched paint just ever so slightly, a small exchange, but nothing serious. Craig Broadbent holding the inside line for the first corner, and that's going to be enough to hold off Daniel just for a bit longer. Sideways, both of them through the first turn. and that's going to be even more space between them and Wayne Walker. But great racing between these two. They're really starting to apply some pressure to one another.
Yeah, they are really not giving an inch, these two drivers. Fantastic. Oh, big lock up there for Craig Broadbent as well. He's managed to gather that back up as well. But yeah, it's just going to show there's not many places to overtake around this circuit. It's very narrow and not many braking zones. It was a very opportunistic move for Obatisano to kind of push himself into the inside of the final corner, but it's going to be a difficult one to make stick. There's a lock up behind. I think James Delaney getting a snacking wheel. Oh, who's that off in the grass in the background? I think it's one of
looks like a Holden. It might be lap traffic there. Maybe deciding just to bail out before these guys arrive on scene, because that's going to be a tough day for anyone. You know, you don't want to be on the receiving end of the responsibilities for taking out a podium position fight. And of course, where these guys are also close, let me look at that, all the way up to 7th place, where Chris McLennan's rounding out the back of the field for this particular pack. You know, you've got battles all the way from start to finish. Oh, another mistake there from Craig Broadbent. It's the 3rd time in a row that he's done that. Going into the hairpin, just goes slightly wide. That allows Daniel to just get a nice exit, and he's once again going to be under threat coming into the braking zone at turn 6. Daniel this time having a little peep, just decides, oh, he's actually going to go for it. He's going to go for it. There's puffs of smoke coming from the Holden as it tries to slow down in good time. Gets the nose in on the inside, but that's going to be another touch between the two of them. Exactly a repeat of what we saw last lap, and he just manages to get the Holden on the inside, but not, you know, that's good driving from Craig, because he knows exactly how much space he needs to give in order to still make the apex of the corner and you know, get a good exit on the run down to the start finish. But that must be infuriating there for Daniel to be put in that position. But once again, coming down to the hairpin, this time it's Daniel under pressure, because you've got James Delaney trying to go on the inside. Here's touch between.
Yep. Looks like the 23 red car just in unfortunate positioning. Terrible look for the clean skin racing car there. He's under pressure from Hayden Darrett in the HD racing car now. He's dropped down into 7th position, plus McLennan up into 6th from that. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened, but it was just, I think it was just a bit unfortunate contact. Very sideways. He's just about held up. He's off the track. Thomas Foster having a mare of a lap. He is back down to 8th now. There's cars flying up it behind him as well. He's going to be under pressure from Mark Young for 9th. So things go from bad to worse for Thomas Foster there, as just one small issue can really unravel your race here. Craig Broadbent is defending once again into the hairpin. Obatisano just can't find a way around. Broadbent is just putting it where it needs to be, on the inside of the corners, and where he knows he can defend. Side by side once again coming into turn 6.
Yeah, he's got the nose in.
He just puts the nose into Obatisano. He's going deep on the brakes. He's going to try and switch back maneuver his Broadbent here. He gets a bit on the curb. That's going to unsettle the car. And that, I think, is all she wrote for Craig Broadbent. He put on a staunch defence, but Obatisano finally managing to secure that 2nd position for the time being. But as they fight, James Delaney and Stephen White are closing in as well. So the fight for 2nd place still not finished.
Yeah, it was a great move there from Daniel. He's been trying to set that up for quite a few laps now, and you know, he tried a few times setting it into the last corner, but it just wasn't working. This time though, just that extra bit of exit speed from the hairpin at turn 4, Bradwell's hairpin, and that's all it took for him to set that up nicely coming into the braking zone at turn 6. Perfect move, classic.
James Delaney's rear tyres must be absolutely on fire. Every time I see him, he is going sideways. Full opposite lock, trying to get that car in a straight line. He's really ragging that thing around again, sideways. Not sure if he was unsettled by Stephen White behind some minor contact, but they've got a loose setup, it seems, on that car coming into turn 2. And you see, every time he goes through there, he is like just counter steering, just to try and get the car in a straight line. That's costing him time, and it will cost him tyre life.
The thing is, though, he's still on pace with the guys ahead. I mean, they've been battling with them and not losing any ground. So whatever they're doing, it's clearly working for the time being. Whether or not that'll fade as the tyres wear, as you say, but you know, it seems to, you know, driving it like you stole it and drifting it around this particular circuit is apparently what you need to do to win races or finish well.
So looking towards the front of the pack now, Daniel Obatisano in 2nd place. Can he close in on Wayne Walker. We know he was quick in Sydney Motorsport Park. He was able to put on a really good defensive works to hold Wayne Walker off about half the race. So we'll see what he can do to close that gap. It's got 2.3 seconds, just under 2.4 seconds to close up, and 24 minutes to go. So we're not even halfway through this race yet, and he's got plenty of time and the pit stops as well to try and respond to Wayne Walker. But Wayne Walker is still holding the fastest lap at 49.8, so still got plenty of pace in that car, and he is just cruising.
Well, you know what, that gap is still at 2.4 seconds, so despite all the fighting that those two have done, that gap is actually quite modest between the two of them. So I'd say for now the pace is actually on Daniel's side, as it comes down by an entire tenth coming into that particular section before coming across the start finishing line. So yeah, I think you're right with that. I believe that the number 4 is the quicker car at this stage of the race.
But how much is Wayne Walker holding in reserves? We know he doesn't need. Well, he knows he doesn't need to push. So is he maybe driving at 85%? And as he sees the gap come down, he'll go, okay, it's time for me to send it, and the true pace comes out. But we'll see. There's a little bit more lap traffic getting involved, I think, ahead. Opisano is just getting around the treble 3 car, which is Justin Bryce currently running down 17th. We have, unfortunately, looks like we had Matt Ogg in the Oggy Racing Mustang has retired from the race. We've got Adam Lansdowne and some contact.
Yeah, someone's had a big accident there.
Yes, they have. Who is that that's having problems?
Is that the 23? I believe. Oh yeah, well the 23's off. Phil Whiteman on the side of the track, but that's at turn 4. That's not the same car that we just saw sitting in the barrier.
Brett Gooden, I think, in the Starship Racing, they have DNF, so terminal damage on that car, it seems, as they've come into contact. As we've been looking at that,
there's been a change,
Stephen White in 4th position now. He's managed to get past James Delaney. Chris McLennan now in a Noble Host Racing car is looking to kind of pick up the pieces of that and maybe gain another position, get him into the top 5.
Will be his opportunity now. Oh, big sideways moment there for Chris, the Noble Host Mustang, sending it sideways into the penultimate corner. So managing to hold it together though, and he's been sitting in 6th place for some time now, just kind of looking ahead, seeing what opportunities are going to open up for him. James Delaney, of course, had his opportunity to apply pressure to Craig Broadbent, and Stephen White's now going to be in the prime position to do so. He's actually created a tiny bit of a gap as James Delaney tries to send it down the inside. Goes badly wrong as big puffs of smoke from the front left as it locks up, and a bit of traffic good for good measure as we come down into turn 6 as well.
Yeah, it's actually Kutchy there in the Old School Racing Mustang. Just staying out the way, getting on the grass just to let all the other cars through. I think they had some issues at the start of the race. And some damage that he needs to repair, so they are running right down the order at the moment. Yeah, we're going back to this the battle for 4th position and 5th. James Delaney is losing touch a little bit with Stephen White in the White Dog Racing car. He's dropped back by just under a second, and he's going to start losing out on the slipstream. That's going to work into Chris McLennan's favour to try and make a move, get himself into the top 5.
Sideways moment there for Chris McLennan. Got a bit too skewish on the exit of Bramble's hairpin, so that's going to hurt his time already. The gap increasing between those two, 0.6 seconds. See, so that corner there, the exit speed that you put down is so crucial to be in a position to overtake for turn 6, like we've seen with Daniel against Craig Broadbent. Oh, and actually, Craig Broadbent.
Oh, Broadbent off. Yeah, he's in the
pit lane.
So...
Yeah, so we are going to see, as I suspected, we're going to see a tyre change with more fuel as well. Of course, right to the 20-minute mark, halfway through this first round at Simmons Plains Raceway.
Yeah, tyres going on the Mustang there, and fuel going in. As we were speaking about gaps, as we see him in the pits, look at the gap between the top 2. Wayne Walker, he is maintaining just a little bit edging out into a bit more of a lead there. He's now built that gap up to 2.5, just under 2.6 seconds. So I think Wayne's just holding a little bit of pace in reserve here as he comes into the pits to make his stop on lap 23 in this race, just over halfway through. So fuel is he's just about made it with enough fuel to get to the end of the race, I think.
Yeah, on board with Daniel now. So he's now officially the new leader of the race, and he's come just ahead of the 444 James Delaney. He's going to be a lap down after serving his pit stop. Gives you an idea of how long they're staying stationary for. Oh, bit of a side swipe there from the red Mustang. I believe that was Phil Whiteman, who tried his best to get out of the way, but of course Daniel just trying to get the power down just a bit too eagerly, but no harm there. So I believe maybe Daniel's going to come in this particular lap as we see puffs of see puffs of smoke coming into turn 6 off the grass there.
I think I saw someone making some I think that was the green car Matt Arger. He's back out in the pits and back in the race, but yeah, I think he was just taking a little bit too much grass there on the exit of turn 6. But yeah, Daniel Opatisano in the pits. We'll see where Wayne Walker is. He's coming through turn 4 now, so I think he is going to retake the lead. But what's that gap going to be? We'll know that Wayne Walker didn't really have the traffic and his in lap as Daniel Opatisano did, so that's going to hurt him. But we'll see where he comes out.
Well, he's just going through turn 6 now, so he's not got a lot of time to do the stop if he's going to get back up and running. 7 seconds to the leader, which is now in the hands of Paul Robinson. Here comes Daniel. He's on the move. He's on the move. It's going to be really side by side at this point. Coming to the pit exit here. They are. They're right on top of each other. Daniel's got the lead. Daniel's got the lead. There was contact between the two of them, but Daniel's done it. He's managed to shave off those 2.5 seconds to get the lead of the race in that short period of time. That is incredible stuff. Now Wayne Walker looking down the inside, but looking for a better opportunity. But wow, that was incredible.
Yeah, he's going to have a little bit of a disadvantage off Opatisano here. He is going to have cold tyres, so he's going to have to take the lap to warm those up. But I had no idea how he did that. He managed to overcome that 2.5 second disadvantage, and he is in the lead. So it's all on Wayne Walker to redo what he did in Sydney Motorsport Park a few weeks ago and get the lead back. So these two, I think they're going to be battling all season long. Some fantastic pace shown between the two of them, and some good camaraderie as well. They seem to be really enjoying the fighting they're doing. But yeah, look at the gap they've got to Craig Broadbent as well. Craig Broadbent back into 3rd position. I'm not sure if he's he must have made a pit stop.
No, he did. Yeah, he's made his pit stop.
So good work for him to get back into the podium position. Who we lost from that list then?
You've got Chris McLennan. He's gone back down into 7th place, replaced by Hayden Darragh. Stephen White, of course, is still there. James Delaney and Craig Broadbent. So all the same as per the start before the pit stops there.
Yes, they are. So yeah, look and see what Opatisano can do here. He's managed to gain a substantial gap so far over that after his out lap, up to 0.7 of a second. So I wonder what he's managed to, maybe if he's gone the extra lap, he's managed to put that little bit less fuel in the car. Not sure how much of a difference that'll make if it's just one lap less of fuel around this very small track, but I know fuel use is accelerated in this server as well, so that it probably will add up to quite a bit of a saving there. But fantastic strategic moves to get ahead there despite the traffic. 15 minutes or just over of this race to go. So can Opatisano defend for 15 more minutes, which is going to be about 16 or 17 laps at this stage?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough call. I think traffic's going to be a major problem for them as well. You saw one of the Mustangs sitting on pit exit there, not wanting to get involved, which is a nice thing. Luckily, obviously, nobody waiting behind, which I think was a very lucky call. Just good timing there. But yeah, if for Daniel now, I wouldn't even bother looking in that rear view mirror, unless he started to close up the gap. It's up to 0.5 seconds now. So as long as he just really starts to concentrate, the biggest threat that he's going to have, as mentioned, is going to be the traffic. If he hits it perhaps into the hairpin or even one of the exit, especially at turn 4, that's going to hurt him and open the door for Wayne Walker. But we'll see how it unfolds, I guess.
Absolutely. Looking further back, for the battle for the final podium position is hotting up. James Delaney looking to the inside of Craig Broadbent. Looks like Broadbent's still not able to he's not able to hold the pace with the cars around him, but he's doing a masterful job of defending. And he is holding off. Big lock up there from James Delaney. Manages just about to get it stopped into turn 2. Such a difficult braking zone into turn 1 and 2 there.
I think he's starting to iron out. He's had a few early mistakes, as we mentioned, which opened the door for Daniel in the early stages. That pretty much knocked his confidence a bit, but he's actually starting to settle in nicely now. His last lap was a 50.1, where the leaders are actually doing exactly the same, 50.2 and 50.1 respectively. James Delaney last lap 50.2, so it's a bit of an advantage, but we saw a slight mistake coming into turn 4. That's going to open the door for James here as Craig goes defensive on the inside line for turn 6, puffs of smoke, and James going sideways in the background there.
Yeah, it's always going to be a difficult move to try and get that done around the outside of turn 6. But he's managed to just about hold on to Broadbent here. Broadbent's got a little bit of a gap, and there's more locking coming into turn 2. And yeah, it's Craig Broadbent. He's got the pace. He seems to take a different line than everybody else. Every lap, he seems to take a more of a kind of a wider line through turn 4, and is able to put the power down maybe that a little bit earlier. You can see there, he doesn't really hold it to the inside. It just goes around the edge of the track. So managing to kind of take a little bit more apex speed, which is helping his defence. But Delaney dropping back here. Looks like he might have cooked his tyres a little bit in that last lap. Just holding off for now and just regrouping for a later attack.
Yeah, he's got a battle unfolding for P7 and 8. Thomas Foster and Chris McLennan, they're extremely close. 0.1 second coming into turn 6. Thomas Foster having a peek down the inside of the purple Mustang. Thinks better of it. Not close enough this time by, but certainly that slipstream next time around, if he doesn't make any mistakes, could be up for grabs.
Yeah, Thomas Foster is going to look to kind of make amends for the issues he had earlier on in the race. He lost quite a few positions. Just getting tangled with some lap traffic, but making moves back up the field. It looks like at the moment he's managed to hold off the Peanut Racing car of Mark Young as well. He's dropped back quite a bit. So looking at just peeking the nose at the inside, trying to unsettle Chris McLennan. He goes deep into the braking zone, just about misses the rear end of the Mustang, and they continue for another lap. He's just starting to show the nose, and it's just making Chris aware that he's there. Had a change of position behind. Jamin Brazal, sorry, in the Tidy Toe Racing car is in 9th position now, overtaking Mark Young. We're back to this battle for P7 though.
Yeah, these two are the closest on grid at the moment, so 11 minutes to go, my apologies. Just making time up in my head now. But yeah, you've also got battle for P12 and 13, that's Sean Stafford and Peter Spearing. Having a good duo at the moment, but all down the outside goes Thomas Foster.
Big contacts into the wall. He's managed to get that going again, but what happened there?
You know what, I actually have no idea why that happened or how it happened. Yeah, Thomas Foster on board there. He's just kind of dipping his head. You know, he knows he screwed up there, unfortunately, but it was his mistake. I don't think there was any contact, was there? I think he just tried to set himself up to go deep into the corner and get the undercut on the run down to turn 6, as we saw the lap before, but just this time, a bit too much and just overcooked it and went past the apex.
Yeah, maybe just snagging a brake coming into the apex, possibly. But he's managed to get it underway. Doesn't look like there's any damage to the front of that Holden. So continuing on for the time being. Gap at the front has really widened out. Wayne Walker has lost about a second to Opedisano there, so maybe some lap traffic causing some issues for the reigning champion, carrying the number 1 once again. So he's got some work to do in the last 10 minutes of the race. Time is quickly running out for him to get back at Opedisano. Yeah,
time officially up to 1.3 seconds, so make of it what you will. I mean, that's a new set of tyres on both these cars, you know, even playing field from that 20-minute pit stop. That happened about 10 minutes ago. Bit slightly deep there for Daniel going into the hairpin, but he's got a bit of traffic coming up now, so we'll see how this plays out for them.
Battle developing behind as well. Chris McLennan is starting to close in on Hayden Darrett in the HE Racing car for 6th position. So despite their battling with Thomas Foster, they are making inroads only about a second or so away now. So I think Foster will just need to close up to the back of these two and just try and maximize his returns, capitalize on any mistakes or incidents that happen. So they'll want to be patient for the time being, but not too patient because we are running out of time. Gap really closing at the lead there. It looks like Obadisano getting stuck behind some lap traffic. Gap's back under a second, so the slipstream coming back for Wayne Walker.
Yeah, I think those two were having a nice little battle, you know, beyond the top 10 and whatnot, but gave it a lap or two, held up the leaders ever so slightly, but I think once they realised that it wasn't going to happen before they arrived on scene, he kind of let him go. So we've still got the 99 currently sitting ahead of them, which is... actually, I'm not too sure. That's Sean Stafford in P12, so they're already a lap down. That's mega pace from these guys. You know, such a short lap to make up that much ground on the, you know, so high up the grid. That's that just shows how fast these guys are.
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a gap now to, I think.
Ooh, bit of a moment there between the lapped car and Wayne Walker. So Wayne Walker opting for the inside line. That's going to cost him. Oh, he's actually made that work quite well because I thought he was going to lose at least a few tenths on the run down to turn 6 with that lap car on the outside, but he's managed to keep it sub 1 minute, so the slipstream's still in effect here.
Yeah, there was that was quite decisive there from Wayne Walker, basically saying, "I'm taking the inside line, you deal with it."
Yeah.
So he does not want to be losing time. Battle for 7th place is back on. Thomas Foster in the Clean Skin Racing Holden. Close once again to Chris McLennan. Breaking into turn 6, nothing available there. So he's going to look towards a move at turn 4 once again. Oh, big sideways moment coming out of the final corner. Manages to just about gather that up. Breaking into turn 2. He's still got... he's still close, but Chris McLennan will be using a little bit of slipstream from Hayden Darrett ahead just to help him along. Not close enough to make a move into turn 4. A little bit of a lock-up of brakes ahead. Big sideways moment for McLennan. That's going to hurt his exit.
Yeah, was on board with Chris McLennan there as he went through the hairpin. The reason why he was going sideways because he was using one hand. He's got one hand on the shifter. He's doing an Ayrton Senna job. And here comes Thomas Foster down the inside and to turn 6. He's actually gone sideways and onto the grass. He's basically a passenger past that point, and that's the end of that fight. That must put a smile on Chris's face there.
Yeah, he just had to lock his brakes there to make sure he didn't drift off up into someone's way. Manages to get it going again, but yeah, that is unfortunate. He tried to move, he had to make the move at some point, but just not able to get the car stopped. Back end just stepped out, and that was all he wrote for that battle. So that just leaves Chris McLennan free to chase down Hayden Darrett ahead in the 53 car, and he has done that fantastically. He is right on the gearbox now of Chris McLennan. If the gearbox is at the back of these cars, I don't think it is. Probably isn't. But anyway, my lack of knowledge aside, they are closing in into turn 6. McLennan very sideways, pushing a 53 pretty much through the apex there, and it's right on the back under the rear wing once again. Bit of a wiggle from both cars. This is a fantastic battle developing here. Breaking into turn 2. Line of stone for the time being, and then heading along the first straight here. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move here unless he does a fantastic dive. Looks towards the inside. Oh, big lock up there from Hayden, and he's managed to gather that up just about.
That's exactly what Chris was trying to do, you know, pushing the outside line, trying to get the undercut as best as possible for the run down to turn 6. But yeah, a bit of pressure starting to show, you know, cracks in the defence from Hayden Darrett. But not an opportunity this time by, not close enough to send it down the inside.
Big full.
Oh, he has. They are side by side.
Yep, never mind.
Yeah. I'll just take my comments right back there. I'll shut up next time and just let Chris do his thing. But
oh, big lock up again. Is Hayden got a problem there? It looks like he's lost a lot of pace. But yeah, Chris McLaren just spotting the move, able to just stick it down the inside and get on with it. So his next target, I don't think he's going to have a chance to catch up with him unless there's issues, would be Stephen White getting back into the top 5. But he is a good 8.5 seconds up the track. So I don't think he is going to get there unless there are some issues. See if there's any further battles developing. The battle for the lead is still there about. Big sideways moment from Wayne Walker there coming out of turn 2.
He's got lap traffic as well. There's 2 Mustangs coming down into the hairpin at turn 4. Wayne Walker able to clear 1 and 2, but having to go really deep on the inside and slowing down. He's gone sideways. Luckily, he saved it. He basically turned that into a drift to get around the corner, but that's cost him at least 0.3 seconds at a time when he did not need that.
Yeah, that was fantastic car control from Wayne there. Just basically shoving the car into a drift to get around the hairpin. It was not quick and it will ruin his tyres, but he's managed to hold on for the time being. If that was me, I would have been face first into a wall. But yeah, fantastic driving there. He's got a little bit of time left to close the gap. It's only about 1.2 seconds still, so not too much time lost. He's going to really have to push now.
In fact, he's already regained that ground that he just lost on that previous lap. It was up to 1.3 seconds at the point of crossing the line, now down to 1 second dead. So this is where Daniel's going to have to be on his A game, because Wayne Walker is starting to apply the pressure. He's been saving those tyres as best he can for this particular moment of the race, and that's exactly what we said. It's all going to be about that tyre management and being in a position where you have the slipstream to attack at the end of the race.
Running out of time to attack though. 3 minutes just over remaining, so we're looking at maybe 3 or 4 laps left in this race. So not a lot of time at all for Wayne to make the move. He's going to have to really pile on the pressure and hope that Orbitano can make a couple of unforced errors. As they've got some more lap traffic ahead. That's Matt Ogg there in the bright green Mustang. Will come into play at some point. Gap down to 0.8 of a second now, so he's really hustling that car, is Wayne Walker, using all of the revs to kind of help the car slow down. He's not quite got the pace. There's a battle for 4th place developing as well. Stephen White has really closed in onto the back of James Delaney, so they are about a second between each other now, just under. So that fight is going to start developing at the closing stages of the race as well. But we will keep an eye on the lead battle for the time being as more lap traffic is ahead. That's the 20 red Mustang as well. Once again, coming between these 2 cars. He must really want this race to be. Oh, there's contact! Oh no, that is Wayne Walker sending the 23 red car into the barrier. Phil Wyman, he's got big damage on that car. The front splitter is missing. That's unfortunate.
Well, we said that traffic was going to be an issue here, didn't we? You know, there's not a lot of room to manoeuvre around these situations, and of course when you're fighting for the lead with someone like Daniel, you need all the time and space you can get. So it was only a matter of time where you had a trafficked car, you know, a blue flag car that was just going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Of course, nothing really they can do about it. They've still got to make the corner and do their own thing, but yeah, just unfortunate there, I think.
We say that, however, the gap has come straight back down. So Orbitano there must have had some form of issue, maybe a little small mistake. But
that reminds me of Fernando Alonso. Do you remember when he broke his front wing and he was 0.5 seconds faster a lap? Maybe the same thing has happened with Wayne Walker here. He's found a setup, something that works for him. He's just found a bit of pace thanks to his broken front wing.
Just bet the towing's giving more straight line speed. But look, that is really flying. Like, what has happened there? It's Is Orbitano possibly conserving some fuel?
Yeah, this could be a problem here. This could be a massive problem. 50 seconds left in this race. It's just one more lap that Daniel needs to hold out for. Could we see a new winner in the series? Well, obviously, Wayne Walker has won 2 out of 2 races so far this season. He's going down the inside, little nose just on the very edge of touching that rear bumper for the entry to turn 6. Managed to hold Wayne Walker off. You can see the car snatching left and right as he tries to wrestle it back into order. Number 4 under a lot of pressure now. This could be pretty much a last lap overtake for the win of Symmons Plains Raceway. Will it be done though?
Yeah, I reckon Orbitano underfueled the car to try and get the overcut on Wayne Walker. He's had to conserve a little bit of fuel at the end, but what a fantastic finish we've had. Wayne Walker throwing everything at him to try and get him. He's going to have one more opportunity to make a move into turn 6, I would say. Unless there's a small mistake, I think Daniel Optisano just has to defend for his life for these final 2 corners. And coming into the braking zone, he's not going to be close enough as Wayne Walker. He's going to try and keep with him. Last corner, coming round 0.3 of a second behind, but it's not going to be enough. Daniel Optisano will come across the line to take the win here at Simmons Plains Raceway 4, race 1. And Wayne Walker just about holding on to it at the end there. What a fantastic finish. Wayne Walker in second and Craig Broadbent coming across the line in 3rd position. So fantastic podium once again for these drivers. Fantastic race. Stephen White coming home in 4th in the White Dog Racing car. Your top 5 is rounded out by Chris McLennan in an Overhills racing car with some horns going off in the background.
Yeah, the results on your screen for you now. As mentioned already, Daniel taking home that win. What a race that was. Wayne Walker just quite literally a few tenths behind at the start-finish line. Craig Broadbent holding off onto that 3rd place. That's going to bring a smile to his face after his connection problems at Sigley Park. He finally starts to get some points on the table to state his championship intentions. And Stephen White coming home in P4 for White Dog Racing, and Chris McLennan moving up the order himself from P7. So rounding out the top 5 for you. Hayden Darragh for HD Racing in P6, and then James Delaney, great racing from him for Clean Skin Racing in P7. Jamin Brazel, I believe he's a substitute racer. I've not seen that name as far as I remember, in P8. And then Paul Robinson for Paul Robinson Racing in 9th. Mark Young had a bit of a tough one, coming home in P10 for Peanut Racing. And then you have Thomas Foster, of course, having that great battle with Chris McLennan at the end of that race, but not able to bring it together, unfortunately. Erebus Motorsport in P12 with Sean Stafford. Peter Spearing in 13th place for Brad Johns Racing, and then Bradley Martin in P14. 15th place goes to Steve Dunn. P16 goes to Craig Stoddard, and then John Slow for Happily Average Racing in P17. Ashley Kutchi in P18, Phil Whiteman in P19, and then Matt Ogg in P20. A few retirements, unfortunately, as the race took place all the way from 21st down, which is unfortunate, Dave, but that's the way racing goes sometimes.
Yeah, it is, especially on a track like this. It's going to be quite difficult to actually, come to the end. There's not much room for error. But yeah, joining us in the commentary box, we have the winner of race 1, Daniel Optisano. Daniel, fantastic finish, and what a strategic manoeuvre to get the overcut on Wayne Walker there. It looked great from our perspective. How was it for you?
Pretty stressful, because I noticed with about 10 laps to go, I don't know if I got enough fuel on board, so I just winded everything back and tried to save as much fuel as I can and as I could, and literally finished on vapors across the line. So,
see, I was thinking like the only way you could have got that advantage if you underfueled the car a little bit, but yeah, I was saying I think we're going to have a season-long battle between you and Wayne for the championship here. He's got the last 2 years. Do you reckon you could knock his crown off?
It's a long season, and he's a freak. I don't even know if he gets tyre wear when he's driving. So, question though, what did you think of my pit exit? Were you watching?
That was incredible.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were going to hit each other and send one off in one direction, then one off in the other. But
was it fair though? I hope I didn't cut him off or anything.
Look fine from our perspective, but we're not race to control, so
yeah.
But
so yeah, don't come to us with the broadcaster said it was fine. So, but I mean, it looked really good from where we were sitting. We love wheel to wheel racing, and that's what we love. So, thank you for giving us that moment. It was real like heart in your mouth moment when you just saw you two come together. I mean, how you shaved off 2.5 seconds, I will never know. But incredible stuff. Well done.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Daniel Optisano, winner for race 1, and will be on pole for race 2. Yeah, I think I'll need to just quickly gather my thoughts for race 2. We can hopefully see more of that in the coming race. Just while we have a minute, just to chill out and just to cool down slightly, we will just go over the sponsors for this evening. once again, we have the broadcast brought to you by Noblehost. Noblehost is a low-cost, high-performance small business website and emailing hosting provider based in Melbourne. So if you need someone to host your website, email account, or need that domain name purchased, please get in contact with Chris McLennan or visit Noblehost website, www.noblehost.com.au. So Chris McLennan there, who is racing his heart out in the Noblehost car there. Fantastic to bring the broadcast with us with you this evening. So, where do we start? So, what do we think? Race 2 now. Wayne Walker, he's got some business to settle now. Orbitano, he's made his point. He's going to try and capitalize on that. I think
he's got a lot of work to do. I mean, we saw that Wayne Walker is very strong on the starts. We know that. He was able to take the lead of the race right off the bat, but it was just that pit stop that gave Daniel the advantage going into the second half of the race, and that's what counts. First to the finish line and all. If Wayne can control that system, that of course he needs a bit of traffic to be on his side as well. On top of that, as we saw during the race, that can cause a few problems, as it did for him at the end of the race. That kind of pretty much ended the story of that particular fight. I would love to say what he needs to do, but I think this is just one of them races where you've got to go with the flow of the track and just hope for the best. Maintain that slipstream, maintain that strike distance, and see what happens in 40 minutes' time.
Yeah, it looks like we've had a couple of guys disconnect from the server. Orbitano being one of them, so we're just hoping that everyone can get back in the race before it all begins. I think we've lost a good proportion of the field there. We've only got 18 cars on the server at the moment. So there might be a slight delay as we just get everyone back into the race. But yeah, I agree. You're gonna have to think now. Does Wayne Walker think of he got the overcut on me and the strategy? What do I do? But you did see that Daniel was saying he was running off fumes. I don't think if Wayne Walker didn't have the issue with the 23 red car, I don't think he would have got to the end. Because he had that opportunity just to back off and save that tiny bit extra fuel just to get him to the end. So I know it's going to be interesting. Thomas Foster as well. He's going to have some vendettas, I think. He had quite the terrible first race, so he's going to look to gain some positions in race 2. But yeah, it's going to be exciting to see all this once again. 40-minute race up incoming. We'll just hope that everybody can get back into the server before the race begins, and we'll get underway.
Yeah, I think people are loading back into the circuit now as we speak, so fingers crossed we can get this race underway for the second half. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it looks like we've restarted the warm-up session just so everyone can get back in. Orbitano back, so our pole sitter is back in the session, which is fantastic. Couple of cars going in and out though, so minor connection issues, which is par for the course with R Factor, I think.
It wouldn't be R Factor 2 without a problem, would it? Let's be honest. It's a very good game. It's a very good game, I have to say, but has a few issues, unfortunately, like they all do. They all do.
I must say whoever has put these cars together as the mod pack has done a fantastic job. I gave them a quick run around before the Sydney race, and they're fantastic fun to drive. You see them getting the back ends out and sliding them everywhere, and you can easily do that as one of these cars, and it's quite fun to recover them. And they sound fantastic as well, especially for a third-party mod in R Factor 2. They sound fantastic. So. Big ups to whoever put this set as mod pack together for these guys. It's been fantastic watching them. It looks and sounds fantastic, and is providing some brilliant racing.
Yes, it's one of those mods that you just got to have, especially if you're down under in the Aussie world. It's it's been bringing smiles to my face. I mean, us Brits, as we said last round, we don't really have anything like this back at home. British touring cars is as wild as it gets, I think, when it goes to wheel racing, doesn't it? And But these things, they're, you know, the sliding, the drifting around corners and holding it together with, you know, minimal aero packages. It's really good fun. Love it.
To me, this is a British touring car with a VB long neck in it. It's fantastic. The fact that these are technically touring cars, when they've got this huge V8 engine, the downforce, and the rear wheel drive, and no driver aids, it's a fantastic formula. And it's a shame that in real life the manufacturer interest has died down a little bit, but you do still have the Ford versus Holden fighting in real life, and the series itself is still pretty popular. Especially when it comes to the big events like Bathurst, the Bathurst 1000. That's going to be on our calendar as well, and will be it'll be great to watch that in sim format. I don't think I've ever seen a sim version of the Bathurst 1000. I think I've possibly seen a couple in iRacing, but in RF2 it's going to be a new experience for me, and I cannot wait for that. That's going to be quite a long night for us.
Oh yeah, big time. Thank God it's not actually in the evening. You know, luckily for us, it's about 9 a.m. when these streams start. So hopefully we won't go too far into the weekend for us. But it'll be definitely a long stream, that's for sure.
That's about the time we start losing our mind, isn't it? We've done some endurance racing together, haven't we? And let's just say we end up getting a little bit loopy towards it.
Oh, what you mean 12 hours of Le Mans? Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay, yeah.
Let's not go into that. Let's focus on this race because there's only 1.5 minutes before we go into the second half of today's event at Sim Plains Raceway. Of course, the second 40-minute round. And yeah, Daniel doing everything he needs to secure his first victory in the season. So that's Daniel 1, Wayne Walker 2. Can he make it 2 out of 2, Dave? Do you think he can manage to scrape another one and maybe even the playing field?
It's definitely a possibility. He showed he had good pace in the first race. I am not 100% sure how much Wayne is holding in reserve, though. He seems to be very good at just maintaining the gap and managing the pace. And if he sees someone closing in, he just gets a little bit extra and kind of continues to control that gap. So his experience is showing. There's a reason why he's a double world champion in this series and champion in another series as well. It's gonna be a tough ask for Daniel, I think, to get that win. But anything can happen. There's still 26 cars to kind of navigate through there, so anything can happen in the run up to the race.
We're just coming to the end of the warm-up session now, so we'll get back to the racing action very soon. Only 20 seconds left, and then the cars will start to line up once more. And yeah, I think this is the second race is also a good time for drivers to reset themselves in a way, because if they've made any mistakes in the previous round, if they're not happy with where they finished, they can take a deep breath, maybe analyze some footage or look at a particular corner that they didn't get to agree with. And not that there's many here at Simmons Plains, but it all counts out. There's very fine margins at this particular round. But, you know, just think, this time I'll do this time I'll do that. You know, whether it be in a traffic situation or attacking down into a certain corner, and see what works. You know, maybe watching what other people did by watching the stream back ever so, quickly. So many options available, and just a good chance to coming to the next round with fists flying, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. So gridding up for race 2, to remind you the running order, we've got Daniel Albertino in pole position after his win in race 1, followed by Wayne Walker, who was 0.3 of a second behind at the end of race 2. Greg Broadbent in third position. He's alongside Stephen White in the dog racing car in the second row. Third row, Chris McLennan and Hayden Darrett line up next to each other. Alongside there, we've got James Delaney and Jamin Brazal. I do apologise if I am butchering your name. It's got to be done to somebody. Fifth row, we have Paul Robinson and Mark Young line up next to each other, which rounds out your top 10. As we see, the leaders are on the grid. Wayne Walker just taking that little bit extra time just to prepare and get himself onto the grid. Make sure he's got enough fuel. Make sure he is all set to go. Because once again, 40 minutes around here on its own is quite the task, but to have to do it do exactly the same straight away, it's a tough ask, especially when it comes to the time of day that it is down under at the moment. They'll be getting tired and want to go to bed, but they've still got work to do, and they've still got to put a fantastic show on for us.
Yeah, the nerves will be starting to build now as they wait for the countdown from race control. Unleash the field of 26 screaming V8s. Although we've lost a few, we've got 23 there, which is still certainly enough to put on a show here at Simmons Plains.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone on the grid now, just waiting for the lights to go on. The revs will start to rise, and once again, the tension will start to build. Everyone's going to be focusing, trying to make sure they hit their marks, get a good start, and get the jump on the cars ahead.
Yeah, they're eager to go. The engine's rising, yeah.
Lights are on. Revs build. Hammer away once again. A fantastic start once again from Daniel Pisano. Getting a terrible run there. He's going to be under threat from Stephen White, who had a fantastic start. He's again. Oh, contact behind. That Craig Broadbent going a little bit sideways. He's managed to recover it. Oh,
Daniel back in the lead. They're going side by side. Wayne Walker got a horrible exit, got onto the curbing, couldn't put the power down, and Daniel back into the lead.
He's going to control this now. Wayne Walker going down the inside. What a fantastic late braking maneuver. He's going to be in the disadvantage. He's going to be under threat. There, there's contact behind. That's Stephen White just touching the back of Wayne Walker. That could have been a nasty spill, but they've managed to hold it all together. And Opisano is in the lead quite convincingly at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think Wayne Walker saw Stephen there in the white Holden. Just thought maybe he had a bit more space than what was, there in reality. But I think Stephen was wise enough to just slowly back away from that, just to make sure it didn't turn into a full spin, which could have been very nasty for him and obviously for Wayne Walker himself. There's a bumper sitting on the apex on the inside line of turn 1, so someone's had it coming together. Yeah, so far, despite the antics in the first corner and fighting for first place, all off to a good start.
Oh, big late break maneuver there. Oh, that's nearly a half spin, and again behind. Craig Broadbent and James Delaney having issues. Craig Broadbent really late on the brakes. He had to really stamp on the anchors to try and not go into the back of Stephen White. And that caused a kind of concertina effect to James Delaney behind. Chris McLennan is looking towards the inside into turn 6. He's going to try and late break maneuver here early in the race. Lock up in
Stephen
front.
White's going very sideways. Sorry, Dave. It looked like he was going to try and make a move on Wayne Walker, but he just overcut the entry into turn 6 completely sideways. That rear tyre nearly touching the grass, but manages to keep it on the grey stuff, which is good for him. Otherwise, he would have been sent 180.
Yeah, so the gap still at half second in the lead at the moment. Everybody else following line astern behind. As little small gap starting to develop between the drivers. Really late on the brakes there is Craig Broadbent. He is really ploughing on the anchors to get that stopped. He is really pushing that braking zone to kind of get the gap at the beginning of the race. He wants to get back in front of Stephen White if he can. He had quite a good run off the start. Looking back further down, I don't think I see any further battles developing at the moment. Stephen White's still sticking with these leaders. He's showing an impressive turn of pace at the moment. He's sticking right on the back of Wayne Walker here in a fairly solid third position.
Yeah, they've done really well to get away from the rest of the pack. You still have Craig Broadbent. He's got James Delaney right behind him in P5. But at least they've got a small amount of breathing room. He can focus ahead on Wayne Walker, and if without having to think about being immediately attacked by Craig behind.
So there's a little bit of jostling for position going on further down the field. We've got a three-way fight for 12th position. We've got here to the Navy Racing. Bradley Martin is battling with John Slow, and that's a lap down car. That's Ali Sathya, who's had some issues as well. He's already a lap down, so maybe that's the bumper we saw on the apex of turn 1. There's battling going on further down the field. Sean Stafford and Justin Bryce having a big contact there. There's big there's absolute chaos at the back of the field. Justin Bryce and Mark Young around. Paul Robinson off in that as well. So that was some messy manoeuvres. Really interesting join there for Robson, nearly taking out the 23 red car. So yeah, that was interesting at the back of the field. They've all managed to get away with it, it seems, but just about. Everything kind of spreading out slightly at the front of the field. Everyone seems to be calming themselves down. I say that there is a battle further down.
Good battle between 7th through to 9th for the moment. Hayden Darrow leading the pack. You've got Jamin trying to apply pressure. He's been pushed to the outside. Thomas Foster also in the mix, showing his nose, but has to be forced back out of it again. So coming across the start finishing line now. So they're really close together, 0.1 second between all three of them as they come across the start finishing line.
Yeah, Thomas Foster making up 2 positions, I believe, at the start there. So he's back in the top 10. He definitely has the pace to be higher up, so he is going to really try and fight to get through these guys as quickly as he can. As the Constantine are up at the front of the field coming into turn 4. Big kind of braking there for Thomas Foster. Just manages to not run into the back of the Tidy Towing Racing Holden.
He might have a good run here, though, because Jamin didn't get off turn 4 in a great way. Looks like he may be in a bit of trouble here. Thomas Foster chooses to do so. He's going down the inside. It's blocked off immediately by Jamin. No room, and they've actually touched, and he's been pushed off the circuit by Thomas Foster. That is not a good way, but I think maybe Thomas was going to go to the inside. Jamin late defending on the inside, and they both found themselves mid-circuit for the braking zone. There's a lot of damage to the front end of that car. He's going to get back underway, it seems, but losing a lot of positions there.
Yeah, I think he was looking to let Jamin back through there. I think it was just a miscommunication.
Yeah, as I said, we saw Thomas Foster. He had a really good run. He was going to go and show his nose down the inside. Jamin then covered that off at the point of no return. I think Thomas tried to go back to the centre, which is where they both ended up sitting. And he was trying to send a bit more speed into that corner. He had nowhere to go. Once the brakes are committed, you can't let go of them again. And he was basically along for the ride.
Yeah, so unfortunate contact once again. Thomas Foster having a complete mare of a weekend. He'll want to forget this one very quickly. So he's got some work to do to get back up into the points paying positions. Further up the field, once again, everyone seems to be about half a second to a second between each other at the top here, managing the gaps for the time being. But less than 10 minutes into the race, so there's still quite a long way to go. Stephen White doing a fantastic job to stick on the back of Wayne Walker and keep him under a little bit of pressure. He's looking to get a decent podium, and I think first podium of the season for Stephen White here, so he's going to try and maintain that. Ray Broadbent dropping back slightly in 4th position, and he's going to soon come under pressure from brake-locking James Delaney in 5th position as well. 6th is Chris McLennan, who is just about to hit on the back.
As you say that James goes onto the grass in the background there for P5, he attacked the inside curb of the last corner. That was enough to send that Holden a bit wide onto the grass, unfortunately, so he's lost a bit of time there, and he may be in trouble as Chris McLennan is right in the background, 0.5 seconds away, ready to strike if there's another mistake.
Yeah, once it big lock up there from Craig Broadbent ahead as well. Braking seems to be the real issue for these guys here. It looks like they can get away with just a little bit of brake locking, but yeah, if you end up doing that too much, you are going to flat spot the tyres. That is modelled in our factor, and that's going to be uncomfortable, especially for the guys with more high-end hardware who've got the direct drive wheels that are going to vibrate the knuckles out of the sockets and so on.
Of course, they don't have any ABS, etc. as well, so you've got to be so careful about the downshifting. Of course, you've got to look after the differential speed, so depending on what gear you're in and how quickly you move down into that optimal gear for the exit will depend on how much you're going to lock those tyres as well. So it's so much you've got to focus on at the same time, especially the speed in which they're coming into the apex itself. So they've really got to focus here. As you know, it's such a small circuit, but so easy to make mistakes.
Well, a lot of these guys will be doing heel-toe downshifting as well as in real life. It's got to change for a position further down the field. The Team Navy Bradley Martin car is getting his elbows out and chucking his way through the happily average car of John Slow. But yeah, as I was saying, a lot of these guys will be doing heel-toe downshifts as they do in the real-life cars, and that takes a lot of concentration and a lot of coordination to do as well. because it looks like Adi Sathya is back through the field on that.
There's a really long train of cars from P11 down to P16. That's John Slow leading the way. Well, Bradley Martin, in fact, is leading the way. There's a small gap to that was John Slow, and then Thomas Foster ran out the back of the pack. And these are all going for it now. We've got some lap traffic starting to mix in with the front runners, and that is playing havoc with them. Oh no, there's one into the wall. That's the GMT Mustang into the barrier, and thus moving down the order. He's not having a good time at all.
Getting a little bit elbows out further down the, vying for any points they could possibly get from this round here. Matt Ogg now is challenging the happily average racing John Slow car in that Monster Energy livery, and he has got Kresna Puchakurinawan very close behind him as well. I think I heard a little bit of contact ahead there. Looks like someone might have had an incident possibly coming out of turn 2.
The track looks pretty clear. They must have, if they did, then they must have escaped almost immediately. There's a bumper on the other side of the circuit on the exit run down to turn 4. So it happened late on that run. There's actually a piece of there's a Mustang front wing. I think that might even be the GMT Mustang part as well, the one that we saw in the wall just a lap earlier.
Great Bourbon into the pits. He's got damage. The Racetech Steel Racing car in the pits. I think I just about saw him with damage to the car. Yeah, he's coming in changing his tyres. I think he is missing a front bumper. So unfortunate for Broadbent there. He is right down the order. Promoted Chris McLennan up into 5th, Steve and James Delaney into.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate news. That's going to be hard to recover from. I mean, we've got 29 minutes left, so that even from a tyre standpoint, in terms of how much life they have, that's going to be a struggle to make those last for the duration of this race, unfortunately.
Oh, issues. Sorry, Matt. There's issues in the hairpin. Thomas Foster and Matt Ogg and Krasna Puchakurinawan getting really hands-on in the hairpin there, nearly 3 wide going into avoiding the debris that's everywhere. So this battle in the midfield here is really hotting up there, hoping to kind of get themselves into the top 10. As I did see the Jarvisum Esports cars in Sydney Motorsport Park. They were really going for it. So good to see some good race from them. Thomas Foster looking to make his way back up the field as well. There's
one of the Mustangs in the background coming across the start-finish line. He took out one of the braking marker signs. Didn't get an eye on what number it was on the dash, but it was going really slowly. I believe it was a lap car, but I'm not too sure if one of them has an issue.
I think it might have been John Slow, because he is back down the order. He was ahead of Thomas Foster and the likes, but as Thomas Foster getting past the Jarvisum Esports car, he's up into 11th again, so he's continuing his charge back through the field. Yeah, I think it might have been John Slow just having some issues there. He has dropped behind Matt Ogg, who was fighting for position.
Well, if we go back to the fight for the lead, because this is spicing up now, they've got a nice clear piece of track, and you've got a 3-wide fight, or 3-car fight, my apologies. 0.7 seconds stretching from front to back, first to third, and Wayne Walker sitting tidy in the centre and applying pressure to the leader, Daniel.
Yeah, Stephen White had a bit of a dodgy run out of the hairpin. He got a little bit sideways coming on the exit, so he's lost out a little bit of time here, but yeah, Walker is turning up the wick now. He is piling the pressure onto Openzano, and he wants that position back. He wants the win. He got mugged off slightly in the last race, so he's going to be really looking to get that back. Down the front stretch here into the braking zone for turn 4. Nearly getting on the grass there was Openzano. He managed just to get it all together sideways.
Moment, yeah, there for Wayne Walker, just trying to get the power down. He was actually counter steering fully 90 degrees to the right in order to wrestle that Mustang back into a straight line.
Really pushing these cars now with these guys, and yeah, Stephen White is just staying there. He's just able to hold on. He's got the pace just about to keep in touch with these guys, so if anything does happen to either of them, he can pick up the pieces. Brett Gooden in the wall, heavy. Where's that? Is that final corner possibly? There is huge issues there. There's cars going everywhere. Slow cars, Matt Ogg's slow. We've got Craig Stoddard slow as
Yeah, he's
well.
retired, unfortunately.
Yeah, that must have been a huge incident. Maybe some brakes failed into the brakes of turn 4 possibly, but no idea. That was a heavy impact that he had.
Yeah, we've had 3 retirements so far in this race. Phil Whiteman, Adi Satya and Brett Gooden, as we've just seen. So unfortunate way to end this weekend worth of racing. It's going to be valuable points or valuable positions that they're no longer being able to fight for. And yeah, Brett Gooden was actually doing quite a decent job in this particular round, so it's going to be quite a sour taste coming out away from Simmons Plains.
Mark Young moving up the order once again. He's up into 14th position. He's just found his way around John Slow. As this bunch of cars is really kind of going tooth and nail here. Craig Broadbent at the back of this long train, who's going to want to gain more positions after his earlier incident. Not sure what happened to him. Maybe we can possibly have a discussion with him later on, see if we can find out what's happening. But back to the front of the field, Wayne Walker still within about half a second of Oppadisano for the lead. So this battle is not over, and we are approaching within maybe about 4 or 5 laps the pit window. So these guys are going to hope their strategy pays off and hope they don't meet too much traffic on their in and out laps.
Yeah, we're going to be approaching the time when we're coming into the pits. 24 minutes remaining. So just a few more to go by, and of course it's going to be about managing those tyres. Daniel still leading the way by 0.4 seconds. Stephen White, as you keep saying, staying firmly attached to this battle. He's just keeping his distance, still in that slipstream, and we've got a lot of traffic now coming into the fray. This is going to change the game quite drastically. First is the 78 Mustang in green, and coming down the back straight now. So pulling over to the side of the track very nicely, getting out of the way, but that is the first of many that Daniel was going to have to contend with. So maybe an opportunity here for Wayne to take the lead of the race.
Yeah, and these guys are all battling hard for these lower positions here, so there is a real possibility that these guys can get caught up in an accident that's not necessarily designed for them. So we'll see how that goes as they catch the traffic, but them all just coming within about a second of each other. Just these top 3 just sticking with each other and kind of controlling the race. They got 5.5 seconds of Chris McLennan, who is in 4th position. So they are really commanding this race, this trio at the moment. But this could all change. You see that gaggle of 4 cars up ahead there. As the leaders approach them, that's going to be quite interesting to get around. Matt Ogg is, I think, the leader of that particular pack, battling for 15th place.
Yeah, these guys have been quite close together from the start of the race this time round. You know, 4 cars back to back, pretty much in the nice tow. Matt Ogg is leading the pack in P15. Paul Robinson rounding out the back of the order in P18. So this is going to be interesting when the leaders arrive. You can just see them coming through turn 1 now. These guys are all still fighting to get through. And Craig Broadbent trying to recover nicely. Is Craig pitted? Or did he have that issue earlier on?
He had damage earlier on. I'm not sure what happened to him. But,
oh yeah, of course, because he did come into the pits there. So Craig Broadbent is the only person that has come into the pits at this time. But he's got to make those tyres last. That's the only catch, isn't it? He's got to make them last 30 minutes, whereas everyone else has 10 minutes more on those fresher tyres. Oh, big moment there for John Slow. He's gone into the gravel for the 81. Just went. That was a really weird entry into turn 6. Went onto the curbing, sent the rear of the Mustang into the air, and sent across the circuit. Luckily, missing everyone in the process, and he nearly crashes into the barrier as well. So that's going to be an interesting inlet, to say the least.
I think he's going to come into the pits just to gather his thoughts a little bit there. Yeah, that was scary for John Slow there, but still in the race, back down the bottom of the order.
And the leaders were just coming through as well at that moment in time. So very, very lucky timing indeed.
Speaking of leaders, Stephen White got a good run out of turn 4. He's right over the back of Walker here. So it's battle for second place. This is going to work into Oppadisano's favour as they break into turn 6, very close to the back of the pink Walker Racing Mustang. There is Stephen White, just over halfway, well, just under halfway in this race. So pit stop's not quite there yet, and I want to get just over the 20 minutes just to make the fuel last. But very close to see Chris McLennan in the very background there.
Well, there's a bit of traffic coming up now, Dave, which is going to be key to the exact moment when you want to come into pit lane. Of course, you can lose a good second or two if you decide to fight through, but we may see the front runners coming into the pits very shortly if this traffic is going to pose a problem for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Depends on how quickly the leaders can get through. There's a big lock up ahead there as Marco and Hayden Darrett, or Marco, not Hayden Darrett, he is in the pits. But
yeah, Wayne Walker's coming in. He's seen it, so is Stephen White. He's seen the opportunity here with the traffic because Daniel is going to catch up to these back runners now in the next few moments. And as we say that, one of them goes sideways. That's Matt Ogg, and also someone else involved. Looks like maybe a Blue Holden going very sideways onto the grass, and that would have cost him time, at least 0.5 seconds, I reckon. And even still, coming down into the hairpin, we've got the 333 blocking that optimal racing line. That's going to hurt the exit on the run down to turn 6. That's going to hurt his overall time. He's got to come into the pits now.
Yeah, he's got to respond to the two cars behind. Stephen Walker just following Wayne into Stephen White following Wayne into the pits when he on the same lap. Are they going to come out in the same order? Stephen White is still stationary. He gets going now. He comes out behind Wayne Walker still. So it's same order as before coming out of the pits for these two. But it's Daniel Oppisano carries on. He's continuing on another lap.
And Craig Broadbent is actually ahead of these guys. That's for position, of course, because he's already pitted. So Craig Broadbent into the lead, technically, provided he will come out ahead of Daniel as well. So that is going to be a challenge for Wayne Walker to get past him as quickly as possible if he's going to make sure that Daniel's not going to retake the lead of the race.
Very tried. Craig Broadbent will obviously have to pit again. He pitted very early, so the fuel's not going to last, I don't think, unless he was just within the window. So that could work out very well for him, but we'll have to wait and see. But will Obensano come in this lap? He's coming around.
He's coming in
now, and yes, here he comes. So we'll see how the traffic has affected Obensano's laps here.
Yeah, watching Wayne Walker now. He's made a bit of a gap to Stephen White. He's fallen behind ever so slightly, up to 0.7 seconds now, so that gap is going to be exactly what Wayne Walker needs. Craig Broadbent is now the only thing that's in his way between taking the lead, and he's actually gone very sideways through the turn 4 hairpin, and now side by side on the run down to turn 6.
I thought he was in the wall, and then was Craig Broadbent to get that stopped, but that's not going to be what Wayne Walker wants. He wants to be around Craig here. He doesn't want to be battling for a position that he doesn't need to battle for. This isn't his fight. His fight with Oppisano, and
Daniel back underway.
Yep, he comes out. Is he going to come out ahead of these two? They're coming across the start-finish line now. Oppisano is going to be close on the exit once again between these two. I think Walker might just have this one. They're side by side once again. Minor contact. Walker's going to have him just about, but Craig Broadbent is still ahead of these guys. The 4 cars here battling for the lead. Oh, now Stephen White going for a move around the outside of turn 4. Walker going down the inside of Craig Broadbent, and he gets that done. Everyone going past Broadbent there. He got absolutely shafted out of the way there for poor Craig Broadbent. But that is just about what...
That was incredible stuff. I thought for a moment that they were going to have a coming together on that pit exit. It narrows so quickly at that point, but amazing racing room given by Wayne Walker, and Daniel able to just slide on through. Stephen White had a go at it as well, but Daniel positioned on the inside, both of them opting for that inside line. That's exactly where they want to be, first and second place, but now Wayne Walker taking the lead. That was fantastic racing between all 4 of those cars.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to see. Fantastic strategy. Oppisano just nearly made that stick. I think if Craig Broadbent was just to hold off a little bit more.
Stephen White now going for an opportunity into turn 4. He's trying to apply a bit of pressure, trying to stay attached to the back end of Wayne Walker, maybe potentially hoping for a win here this afternoon. But yeah, Daniel able to hold him off. But of course, that's bad news for him. He wants to remain focused on what's ahead, not what's behind.
Yeah, he's just going to look forwards and chase down that pink Mustang that he is oh so accustomed to seeing so far this season. So Stephen White is just being that little bit of distraction he doesn't need. But Stephen White doesn't want third, he wants second. He wants to try for a win as well. So he's definitely got the pace. So we'll see how that goes. Very aggressively across the curbs actually turn 2. That really affected his exit, but still together. Craig Broadbent dropping back off this lead group as well. Very close now into the braking zone for turn 4. Everyone just kind of maintaining their gaps, spreading out a little bit. I think they'll want to just kind of cool their tyres and their minds down slightly, and then regroup for the final charge in maybe 5 or 10 minutes time. Braking turn 6, everyone stays as they are.
Got a nice battle between P10 through to P12 as well. Bradley Martin, Thomas Foster and Jamin all going for it, and coming down to turn 4 now, they are right on the back end of one another. Thomas Foster in the middle and hoping to get an inside line, but thinks better of it. That blue Mustang proving a fairly wide obstacle there for the yellow Holden.
Yeah, Foster's got some. He's had some work to do all the evening so far. He's not had the best couple of races. It'll be definitely a weekend he wants to forget. But to salvage top 10 out of this would be his goal, I think. He's on the fringes of that at the moment. A bit of a contact between the two, I think, there, but nothing serious. And then the red-grilled Mustang just holding on for the time being to turn 1 and 2. Opitano really closed in on Wayne Walker in 10ths of a second just about now, and Stephen White just about holding on to the slipstream as well. So this battle definitely not over either.
No, this one's going to go to the very end, I think. 14 minutes to go. There's plenty of life in these tyres yet. And as we saw with Wayne Walker, he was able to preserve those tyres and apply pressure at the end of the race, whereas I don't think he's got that luxury now. He's not only got one person to contend with.
Oh, contact! Oh, Thomas Foster round again. Oh, this has been a terrible, terrible race for him. He's going to try and get going again, but what unfortunate luck is this turn 6 again. That seems to be his bogey corner at the moment as the leaders are going to come through. I was watching there, he got the braking all wrong, man of contact with Bradley Martin, and it just sent him down. So unfortunate there for Foster. He's going to get all of that work to do again.
Yeah, all the way down. He hasn't actually lost that many positions in P13 at the moment, but of course he's out of the fight for those points, unfortunately. So that's the second time they're having at Sydney as well in the first corner. He actually came back strongly in that particular weekend, but hasn't worked out so well this time round, which is a shame because he has obviously got the pace there, which he's already shown.
Yeah, since the leaders come through him, he would have definitely wanted to be with this lead group, but not to be, unfortunately. Great Broadbent hitting once again. Pretty sure that fuel couldn't get into the end, but he's come back out in 8th position. He should be able to hold on to that for now, as Steve Dunn actually just comes through him, so he's back into 9th. So he's done well to recover there. He's back into the top 10. Back to this lead battle, though. This is really hot. Once again, 3/10 Linus done all 3 of these cars through turn 1 and 2. Wayne Walker just about holding pace at the moment as they come through onto the straight. Lots of slipstream advantage for Opitano. The straight's not quite long enough to make the huge advantage of it. Very close under the brakes. Goes a bit wide of the apex, tries to cut back on the exit, and he's maintaining that gap for now. He's got a better run. The gap's closing slightly as they come in towards turn 5.
Yeah, sub 0.2 seconds now coming into turn 6. There could be an opportunity here for Daniel. Wayne didn't get such a good exit from that last corner. He's going to switch back. He's trying looking to the inside. Not this time by. And of course, Stephen White just looking on, envious in hopes that they maybe have a coming together or open a door for him to take an opportunity to move on through. But yeah, starting to heat up now. We're closing stages, fast approaching. Daniel wants to be in control of this race like he was before.
Yeah, he got a little bit squirrely under the brakes into turn 1 there. He's lost a little bit of pace, but he's still well within that slipstream range. He tried to kind of fake Walker out to block the outside line, but wasn't going to work. I think Wayne Walker's far too seasoned for that. But better exit out of the hairpin. He's got just about, yeah, he nearly got alongside. He's going to try and possibly make that move once again as Craig Broadbent moves up back into 8th position. But back to this fight is...
He's inside again. No, he's not this time by. It's the same again. So had a little look, thought about it, but then decided to wait for a better opportunity. Of course, he needs to make sure that whatever he does, it has to be the move. It doesn't have to be an attempt. It has to be the one that works, because of course Stephen White waiting patiently for that opportunity to be made, or for that move to be made, sorry, and then he's going to make his move. You know, it's got to be so tactical. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be concise in order to take victory here once again.
Battle for P4 as well. James Delaney and Chris McLennan are battling it out as well. They're about half a second between each other. Same as the leading group. Stephen White just backed off a little bit here. I think he's a bit worried that there might be some coming together. He wants to try and avoid that. But once again, you've got to be so committed to make that move into turn 6. Down the outside, nearly on the grass though, as Operator. He's not made that stick once again. But you've got to really commit to that move early on, and if the other driver doesn't give you the room, then you do not make that move.
I think if he's going to do it, it's going to have to be this lap. To be honest, Stephen White has fallen back quite by a fair margin. I mean, I know it's only 0.8 seconds, but here there's quite a lot of time at these high speeds. So Stephen White falling behind, so he's got a bit of breathing room. So if he wants to make the move on Wayne Walker now, it needs to be on this lap. He needs to make sure he perfects the exit of turn 4. He's going quite wide, bit of a smoke lock up there from Wayne Walker. Here comes the pressure then, hammering down on the power from Daniel in the number 4 Holden. Not even remotely as good as the lap before, but here comes the slipstream. Can it counter that bad exit that he's got? Sub 0.1 seconds as he comes down towards the braking zone. Turn 6, he's peeping down the inside, still not close enough. It's exactly rinse repeat of one lap before, and unfortunately just needs to find that extra 2 kilometers an hour down that back straight in order to make it work.
Yeah, lap traffic's going to start to make a difference here, as we've got John Slow there is coming up to the leaders. He's going to want to get out of the way. He does not want to get involved in this fight, but as they come down the back straight once again, this is going to help Wayne Walker to maintain the gap. He's got the slipstream. John gets out the way nicely of the lead 2. He gets into the...
he's actually cut up Stephen White there. So the 81 switched over to the racing line just at that last moment. And that I thought Stephen White was going to be sent into the back. But somehow they missed each other. That was really close. Well, here we go. Here's the move. Here's the move for the lead of the race. Down the inside. This time he's made the opportunity stick. He's got the apex. He's got the ideal line. Wayne Walker now in second. He's trying to go for the switchback. They are going to touch very so slightly. Sideways moment there for Daniel. Holds it together as they're coming across the start finishing line. What a move. And that's exactly what he's been trying to set up for the last 5-6 laps there, Dave.
Yeah, that was a perfect move. It's exactly the opportunity he wanted. He just managed to get that little bit extra speed and has managed to get past. There was massive issues at the hairpin here. Lots of cars around. Oh, big contact. The leaders. That's Craig Broadbent going off there. It looks like Obertsano has managed to get away with it.
Stephen White in the mix as well. Sorry, so that's put Wayne Walker in an awkward position. How much damage he's done to Daniel's car, we don't know yet until we see the pace over the next few laps. But Stephen White smells blood in the water. He's going to try it on the inside line of Wayne Walker, down into the turn 6. Thinks better of it once again, cancels it at the last minute, but he was right on the rear bumper of that Mustang there.
Yeah, that's really worked into Stephen White's favour here. That's putting him right back into this fight. We'll have to, as you said, we'll have to wait and see what the damage is like to Opedesano's car. That was a heavy contact, but it was straight on, so any steering damage should be negligible from that contact. But I don't know what happened there. Craig Broadbent, I think, just had a terrible re-entry. Couldn't see any cars come in. Oh, contact there into the braking zone. Looks like Opedesano got a little bit of a punt there from Wayne Walker. No damage done. But these are not going to be pristine V8 Supercars. They come back to the pit. Fantastic racing between all three of these guys. Stephen White is just looking for that moment to pounce, I think. Running out of time to it, 7 minutes to go. This is close once again. Wayne Walker has really closed that gap back up.
Yeah, he tried to open the door on that turn 6 entry point, but wasn't able to do so. But again, now it's role reversal, whereas Daniel is under pressure to make that Holden as wide as possible. Wayne Walker needs to make sure that whatever move he does, Stephen White is not going to be in a position to take advantage and move up into first.
Yeah, absolutely. They both got a big wiggle coming out of turn 2, so exits were compromised. Coming through turn 4 now, Stephen White just trying to make that move. There's more traffic coming up ahead.
Can I just say, this is really good racing. I'm loving this. This is really good stuff.
This is fantastic stuff to see. I will echo that has been brilliant to watch so far. These three are just nose to tail constantly. They're stepping out of Opatisano. He's really pushing that car. The Holden is just being ragged for everything, nearly contacted to turn 2 there as Walker comes through. Lost a little bit of gap there. His exit was compromised, I think. Stephen White close enough here. More traffic ahead, fighting for position, so they'll need to be careful of that as well.
Yeah, we're on board with Wayne Walker at the moment as he comes out of turn 4. He's still got Stephen White firmly in his rearview mirror, but he just captured the speed coming through that particular set of corners as he comes down to the braking zone at turn 6. Daniel this time by though, 0.6 second gap compared to the second place Mustang, so he's found a bit of breathing room, at least, albeit for a small moment.
Just at the time, it doesn't look like there's any lasting damage that's affecting performance there. So he's got 5 minutes to nurse that car back home. Temperature could be an issue. The radiator might have taken a big hit at the front of the car, but he seems to be able to continue unabated, it seems. So that's good news for Opatisano. Bad news for everybody trying to chase him down. Breaking into turn 4.
Yeah, we do have a bit more traffic coming up as well, Dave. There's, I think, maybe 2 to 3 cars currently going down the back straight, which is where our leaders are right now. That's going to be them fighting for position. I think it may be Bradley Martin. Yes, it is Bradley Martin in P9 with Steve Dunn. So these guys have been doing mega job to catch up to the rest of the top 10 in this race. That is just really strong performance from the top 3 running cars. But that is going to prove troublesome for Daniel with 4.5 minutes to go. He's certainly going to catch up with them before we reach the checkered.
Some more locking there. Oh, that's a little bit of a dodgy exit. Okay. But as we've been watching this fight, Chris McLennan has managed to get past James Delaney, so he's up into 4th position in a Nova Host racing car. So a decent race once again for him. He's a bit far back from this group, so unless there's some major catastrophe that befalls these 3 top cars, which from the racing I've seen so far, it might not be far off, but we can hope not. But these 3 continuing their ferocious battle and fantastic battle coming to the closing stage of the race, under 4 minutes to go in this final race of the evening. The White again, he's right on the back of Wayne Walker this time. Breaking into turn 2, he's got a good run on the exit. The brakes glowing as the light starts to fade a little bit. Just shows the nose to the inside, turn 4 close enough to make that move. The lap traffic is coming up though for these 3 cars. Tries to get a tighter exit, does Stephen White, and he's managing just for now to hold on to the back. But he's going to have to try and make a move soon, otherwise he's going to run out of time.
Daniel now getting past Bradley Martin. That's one of the trafficked cars, so they were actually fighting for position.
Oh, big slide there from Stephen White. Is he going to hold it? He just about gets it back on the track, but that is disaster for Stephen White and his chances. He's dropped a good couple of seconds there, which releases Wayne Walker now to fight Daniel Opatisano. So terrible news for Stephen White there. He just got a little bit too much speed coming through turn 6 and got the back end out, got all over the grass, but he is continuing, although he is out of contention for the time being.
Yeah, we still have Steve Dunn in the way, which is going to be a lapped car for Daniel in the 49, so he's got to make sure that he doesn't interfere with this battle. Sorry, Bradley White, can I just say, hats off to that chap, because he was fighting for that position, P8 in class.
Oh, where's Opatisano going? He's trying to find his way around Stephen Dunn there, trying to go on the grass nearly. Sorry to interrupt you there, but that's really right. Slowed him down. Wayne Walker pushing him through the apex there. Now this is really getting very intense towards the end. About 3 laps to go now.
Yeah, it's
in the inside of turn 2. Not going to make that move. Sorry to keep interrupting you, Matt, but as soon as you start talking, something fantastic happened.
Said every person ever, just make the excuses, yeah, just be rude to me. Or here it goes again, Wayne Walker down the inside into the turn 4 braking zone. He's got the nose of the Mustang in, so he's got the move down there side by side on the run down towards turn 6. It's going to be a drag race on the back straight all the way down. It's just these 2. He's going to have the inside line, is Daniel. to defend that position. However, Wayne Walker now in a prime opportunity to take the inside line for turn 6 in the apex. That Mustang very wide indeed. He's still got the nose on the inside. They make contact with one another, exchanging paint as they get to the corner itself. Still side by side, going through the final corner. And Wayne Walker's got it. He's got it surely. They're still side by side. Daniel's going to have the inside line for the next corner. They're going for it. This is incredible stuff. Wayne Walker hustling. And a big contact between them. And they've got a half spin between them. I mean, that was incredible stuff to go racing like that for so many corners in such a narrow circuit. It was only a matter of time because they both did not want to give up that particular chance. Unfortunately, Wayne Walker getting sent into a half spin, but Stephen White now into second place and in attack position, 0.8 seconds behind.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. There's only ever one car in turn 2 like that, so someone was always going to be punted out wide, and it's always going to be the guy on the outside. So unfortunate for Wayne Walker. He's still in the podium position, but this is really working out for Stephen White here. He's just got to try and find a way back. Obedisano in the final, coming into the final lap now.
Yes,
we've got 21 seconds to go. So what can Stephen White do in this final lap? It's all or nothing. Can Obedisano take the double win to take the lead of the championship? It'll be if things stay as they are. Not going to be close enough is Stephen White here. He's going to have the slipstream. Is he going to try and dive it down the inside into turn 4? No, definitely not close enough this time round. Heavy on the brakes. He's trying to close that gap into the braking zone. Will not be enough for now. He's going to have one more opportunity. He's half a second back, so I don't think he's going to be close enough to make the move unless it's some form of godly send.
No, I think he's got it in the bag, provided he doesn't make any mistakes himself. And Stephen White just wants to put on a show before getting to the checker flag, but that's 2 out of 2 there for Clean Skin Racing. What a performance it's been. They've put on a show. Definitely Wayne Walker, round of applause for that man for putting the pressure on when it mattered. And yeah, he's got to be happy with this weekend. That's the championship pretty much in his hands for now.
Yeah, that was fantastic racing from all three of them. Stephen White, that last-ditch effort there, managed to just about hold on to it. So that's his first podium of the season, second place. Fantastic job for him. Wayne Walker, he'll be happy, I think, to walk away with the podium there. He could have won that one, but yeah, unfortunate for the defending champion. Chris McLennan in a pretty solid race, coming home in James Delaney in 5th to round out your top 5 for the racing car. So your top 5 rounded out by Clean Skin Racing machinery. What fantastic races we had there. They were brilliant.
Yeah, it was absolutely spectacular, right down to the very last moment. That is exactly what we want to see, and you know, that's exactly what we saw at Sydney Motorsport Park as well. You know, racing up and down the order. I do feel sorry for the guys that have been fighting inside the top 10 because they deserve all the credit as well, because they've put on some awesome racing. But unfortunately, the action at the front, you just can't ignore that because they're going wheel to wheel so often. You know, this circuit just promotes close racing. I absolutely love it. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. Big congrats to Craig Broadbent as well. Managed to drag that car back into P9 after his incidents earlier on, and that big contact he had with Albertisano there. So yeah, that was brilliant. The battle at the front was absolutely fantastic. We had some very strong battles in the mid to lower field as well. So yeah, fantastic racing once again. We'll see if we can drag the podium sitters in for a quick chat before we round up the stream. But my God, that was absolutely fantastic, and I think I'll need to have a lie down after that one.
Yeah, certainly.
So, first off, we have Wayne Walker. That was interesting, Wayne. P3 in race 2 and P2 in race 1. Not quite the weekend you would have wanted. You had the pace absolutely to win that one. What was it like from your perspective?
Oh, it was just I don't know. Daniel was too quick this week. Just yeah, I don't know. Couldn't sort of had the pace, but couldn't make the move stick. So yeah, he was just driving better on the night, I suppose.
Well, it looked fantastic from our perspective, especially the battle in the final bits there. Some minor contact into turn 2 on the penultimate, coming into the penultimate lap. unfortunate contact, but yeah, don't think there'll be any hard feelings there.
I'm not sure whether we actually touched or not.
Oh, really? It looked like from our perspective, but yeah, it was always going to be the outside car that had the issues at that corner.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
yep.
yeah. But yeah, coming into round 3 in April, Australian Grand Prix, is that another track you are quite strong at? Are you looking to make amends for what happened this evening?
Haven't really raced there too much, so I'm not sure. I'll have to do some practice before that round.
Well, that's fantastic. Thanks very much. Congrats on the podium this evening, and we'll hope to see you in the next round.
Yep, thank you.
Second position, we've got Stephen White. That's your best finish of the season so far. That must have been quite the show from your perspective.
Yeah, it certainly was, Dave. The first race didn't go too bad for us. We just had a solid result in the top 4, and I thought starting on the second row, it's going to give me a better chance to have a better result. And when we sort of had the first 5 to 10 minutes and I was staying on the back of Daniel and Wayne, I thought, oh, there's a good chance here for a good result at the end. And I could stay with them, but to actually make a dive, I was really struggling with. So I just thought I'd look after my tyres. I've got to think about my pit stop to make sure that we get a good one under our belt. And I followed Wayne in. I was hoping we could do the undercut on Daniel. And when we all came out of the pits, I think Craig Stoddart was leading at the time, and Wayne was there, and then Daniel came out, and I was there, and I think all 4 of us were side by side going down into the hairpin. And unfortunately for me, when we were lapping some traffic, I just lost my judgment of where my braking point was, and I just came into the second last corner a little bit too fast as the tyres were going off, and just lost that couple of seconds to the guys in front, which I'm actually so disappointed in myself for, because I think if I was there, we definitely might have. I don't know if we would have, but definitely might have had a chance to get in front and take the lead.
Well, it was fantastic watching you there, especially that last-ditch effort on the final lap into turn 6. Well held to get that back into one position, but yeah, that was brilliant to watch. And yeah, once again, third round, is that you could try and bring this momentum with you and get some more podiums? Maybe one further?
Yeah, this year for me is a little bit more enjoying and having fun. I've been pretty serious into the last 2 years of the championship, racing against Wayne, and every year we get more competitors that are stronger, and this year's obviously the strongest yet. And I can't participate in all the rounds, so if I can get a podium here or there or knock on the door for a victory, I'll take it, and just do the best I can and try to, I guess I'm hoping I can do a top 5 in the championship. We'll just see how we go.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us there, Stephen, and yeah, we'll hope to see you in the future rounds and see you on the podium again. Lastly, Daniel, once again, that's a double win, so that puts you in the Leader Championship going into round 3, provided no penalties or anything come of it. But yeah, that was once again quite the tough race for you, and exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, really enjoyable. I got caught up with a bit of a back marker there, and that closed the gap for Wayne to get right behind me again. So yeah, it wasn't the cleanest finish that I was hoping for, and yeah, it was pretty brutal towards the end, just hanging on. So yeah, I'd like to think Wayne and I didn't touch there, but we'll see what the replay shows.
Yeah, we saw you did have some contact. I think it was with Craig Broadbent coming out of the hairpin.
I didn't even see him. I did not even see him. I come around the corner and there he was in front of me. So I don't know, just out of my sight.
Any damage you were nursing back from that, or was the car surprisingly okay after that hit?
Yeah, I couldn't see if I lost my front bar or not, but I definitely had damage after that because the wheel had a nice wobble to it for the remaining laps after that incident. So yeah, it definitely wasn't a comfortable finish.
Well, you managed to just about hang on to it. So that brilliant. Congratulations once again, double win. We'll see you possibly in round 3 in April.
I'll be missing the next round. Actually, I'm going to the Grand Prix, so that'll be the only race I'll miss this year.
Well, yeah, congratulations once again, and thank you to all the podium systems for joining us there and giving us your thoughts. Fantastic thank you very much for giving us such a fantastic show, and we'll hope to see you all very soon in the coming rounds.
Yeah, Daniel,
Thanks, guys.
any words, anyone you want to mention or thank, etc., for the wins, etc.?
I'll thank Wayne and Steve for pushing me, because I could see Steve look in my rear mirror. He was coming hot, so I haven't gotten to race with him very often. So yeah, thanks to Wayne and Steve for pushing me.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch you guys go wheel to wheel. I'd just say, for myself personally, that was fantastic to watch. Thank you for that show, boys. I really thoroughly enjoyed that. So hopefully we'll see more to come in the season as it unfolds. I'm sure we will. But I thought, it's a small circuit. Not much is going to happen with it, but quite the opposite, it seems. It's really good to watch. So thank you once again.
Cheers.
No worries, Matt. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, fantastic. So, final from you there, Matt. That was fantastic. Kind of second round there was even more exciting than the first round, which I thought couldn't be possible. So coming into round 3, April 9th, that's the Australian Grand Prix around the Albert Park circuit. That's going to be a completely different challenge once again. It's pretty much a street circuit, but once again, something completely different to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be the same format. So we're going to have 2 sprint races again. So it's going to be the soft compound tyres. That's going to be once again similar to here. Really, there's a bit less runoff available, as you say. It's a tight circuit with concrete walls, etc. So whatever move they make, they're going to have to make sure it counts and make sure they don't overcook it into the corners. But no doubt, I have no doubt in my mind that that's going to be another round full of excitement and wheel-to-wheel racing. It's going to be fantastic to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be Wayne's opportunity to possibly close the gap and take lead once again, because Daniel's not going to be at that round. But that could leave the door open for someone else to put their nose in and start claiming. We know some guys, Thomas Foster, if he can kind of sort out the issues that he had, he's definitely got the pace to be right up there with the leaders. Craig Brook as well, he's got good pace, he just needs to get it.
Yeah, I was just going to say Craig Broadbent, he's had the pace in qualifying and this race as well. He just was very unfortunate to be caught up. Of course, he had connection issues at Sydney Motorsport Park for the first round, which pretty much took him out of the running. Which was a real shame, because he was doing really putting on a really strong performance as well. So it'd be good to see if we can have some more contenders for the championship. Of course, now Wayne knows that Daniel means business. He's definitely put on a show for us today, as has Stephen as well. So definitely some action to unfold in the next opening rounds. So we'll see what happens at Australian GP. I'm expecting it to be tough things. It's a shame Daniel can't be there, but I think they get a wild card in this championship where obviously the points don't count. So I don't think it'll be missing it too much in the grand scheme of things.
No, that's all going to be very exciting, and we can't wait for that. So please do join us on April the 9th, same time, for the Australian Grand Prix Super Sprint around the Albert Park Grand Prix circuit. So unless there is any final words, I think that will be the end of the stream. So thank you very much once again for joining us, and we hope to see you in the next round in April.
All right, take care, guys. We're signing off. Goodbye.
Goodbye.